Hi, I'm Mark Allen, one of the producers of the Las Vegas Comedy Festival. And what a better place to have a comedy festival than right here in the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. On any given weekend, there are over 25 to 30 comics appearing right here on the Las Vegas Strip. Come on back to our office, I'll show you around. We were doing a show at the Casino Royale right across from the Mirage for about a year, every night, 1 or 2 sets a night. It was a lot of really good place to work out material. My mother wanted us to come down to see the show. Well, I had a bad experience with my mother coming down to see a show one night because she'd sit in the back. The show wasn't on stage. The show was in the back with my mother because she'd be sitting back there going, "What'd he say? I didn't get it. Was that a joke? What was it? I don't understand that, you know?" And everybody's watching my mother in the back. Nobody's watching the car. Anyway, so I said, "Ma, you can't do that. If you want to come down and see the show, I'll give you a pad and a pen and write down there. And after the show, I'll explain the joke to you." See? So she says, "What kind of show is it?" I said, "Well, there's 3 main comics. Then we let a new guy on. He's not really professional, you know, but we give him a chance to get up and do some stuff." So I was really proud of her. Half the show was going on. She was sitting there, you know, she'd make a few notes and she wasn't saying anything, you know. And about halfway through the show, she says, you know, the old people who can't hear, so she shouts to the ladies, "Is this the guy that's not that good?" And the audience, the sound man fell off his chair, went right through the curtain. I mean, it was hilarious, right? So anyway, we're doing this show, and sometimes we'd have 2 new guys a night on there. And after the show, we'd sit in the back and we'd talk about, hey, you know, we ought to do some kind of like a comedy festival, like a seminar thing where comics could come in and get up on stage in Vegas, you know, and the whole thing like that. Over a period of months, it just started evolving into, you know, like some kind of we knew about the Aspen Comedy Festival and the one in Montreal. And we thought, man, Vegas should have a comedy festival. We can do it as part of that, you know, some kind of a contest, some kind of, you know, thing. All these ideas started coming out. And then there was Brian Mullen was part of our crowd. He was a comic, and he ran a DJ service here in town. And Brian actually is the one that put it down on pen and paper, really developed it. He refined the entire thing.
We'd sit around afterwards and, you know, I would listen and we would talk. And then I said, you know, we should do a contest. You know, these people want to perform. And, you know, and then, you know, I'm an idea guy. There's some days I'll create 10 ideas. I'll write them down and, you know, and this was one of them. You know, I wrote down and, you know, what I thought we could do. So I registered, you know, Laugh Across America, Last Comic Standing. I registered Can You Make America Laugh? And I think I registered like 10 other names that, Do You Think You're Funny was one of them.
How you guys doing?
And then Steve said, well, let's bring Mark in. And we brought Mark in. At first it was me, Steve, and Mark. We were putting it together.
About a year later, Steve Cato calls me up and he says, "We're having a meeting. You know, you were in on this from the beginning, you know, down there at the show and stuff like that. And we want to put a group together and do this, you know, thing." We opened up the company, Las Vegas Comedy Festival. We started building the whole thing up and everything.
Mark gave as a reference a gentleman who was the executive director of the Will Rogers Institute in Oklahoma. And he mentioned that Mark was a hell of an entrepreneur and could probably pull it off. I thought Mark was an impressive person, and he seemed to be really on the ball with a lot of things. And he seemed to have a clear vision as to what he needed to accomplish and what he wanted to do.
The only one that had any business sense. So I had a company I was running, and there was a vacant store next to it, office warehouse, so I rented that. We set up the office for the Las Vegas Comedy Festival, and, you know.
Wait a minute, more laughs you can shake a stick at? No.
That's the way Steve looked at it, like that, because Mark had the successful Western arts business, and that, you know, Mark was talented in that way. He was able to build a business, and, you know, Steve looked up to Mark in that way that, you know, Steve always said to me, you know, Mark may not be the funniest guy in the world, but he understands business. You know, I thought Mark was funny. I liked Mark, but I didn't see Mark as the benefit to the festival that Steve did.
Mark was the presenter of his little business having to do with stage props. And so he had the vision.
Everybody was on board for it. I mean, all of Hollywood was behind it. We had every celebrity, and I mean, Shelley Berman, all the old timers. Everybody came in for free. We just gave them a hotel room. They all jumped on the bandwagon. They couldn't do enough. Hollywood professionals, managers, agents, Ken Cragen, who managed the Smothers Brothers. And so everybody came in to teach seminars, you know. We had everybody in on it. We hired a Warren Cowan agency to do the PR work. We did it by the book.
Kind of walk us through this first season. So we'd like to give them a big thank you for helping us. Thank you very much.
We had a press conference to launch the festival. Wayne Newton let us use his theater at the Stardust. Wayne Newton was a real gentleman. He couldn't do enough for us, you know. He hosted the thing.
I think that there's a real need for what this is going to accomplish, and more importantly, I think it's going to bring a real economy boost to our town, and I think that that you people are going to be real good for the soul of Las Vegas.
Everybody that showed up, all the Hollywood crowd. I mean, Steve Lawrence, and Pete Barbuti.
I think this is long overdue. I think Las Vegas should have had a comedy festival for a long time. This has been a cradle for comics and singers and all kinds of performers for decades. This is known as the entertainment capital of the world. I think you guys have hit on a very good thing, and I wish you great success with it. Great luck.
Well, it'll be successful with guys like this. Pete, what do you say to the young comic out there that's trying?
I say stay and work. It's a very hard business, and I think we should have this festival every year, and I'm very happy to be here to welcome this to town, except I don't want singers because I hate their guts.
Everyone unanimously said, why hasn't this been done here before? This is the most perfect place for a comedy festival, you know, the home of entertainment right here in Vegas. So it got such a great vibe to get it started.
City, and we're going to be FedExing them back. We're going to be FedExing them back to the office every single week. So
we had Lauren Muni. She was kind of our tour manager, you know. I was the producer, but she was the tour manager. And she kept all the records, all the books, made sure everything was loaded in the van, made sure, you know, all the reservations, she'd call ahead, make sure the reservations were confirmed, and very vital person, you know, to have someone like that on the tour.
My job title that I was told before I arrived was tour manager, but I realized when I started that I was the production manager. I had to keep everyone organized. And Mark Allen, he is a planning man, but not an organizing man. So he liked the big picture and not the details. So my job was to get us from one place to another. I had to, though we had the bookings from where we were doing the auditions, we had in-between hotels. We had to look for hotels. We were picking up coupons for the cheaper hotels to stay on a budget. And I was working with the information being sent from the main office for our auditionees.
The United States Department of Comedy put together an expedition where we all piled into a van and were sealed up together for 2 months. 2 whole months. It was great. It was probably one of the best things I've ever done. Okay, I had a blast. Even though at the time I was miserable, it was one of those things where you're miserable, but yet later on you think, wow, I loved that. And I want to go back to the misery? Is there something wrong with me?
You will have to read this.
Okay.
And then when you get to the back, when you get to the back, you're going to sign it. And I know we're looking through it. And when it gets to it's going to ask you for your ID number. Okay. That's your ID number.
306.
Put the wide angle on that, would you?
You've been
She's
here a
from
while,
Oklahoma.
haven't you? You've lived here a long time.
4 days.
You guys in trouble. This guy does like.
In Los Angeles, it felt like everybody wanted to be famous. It felt like everybody who came to audition was an actor of some kind, or an actor / something else.
Wait, shouldn't I save it for when I get in there? Do they just want to see my bra, or do I have to take off the bra?
Everything. I need to let them know.
I have to take it all off?
Going in.
Okay. Oh, here comes my fans. These guys like me.
Give us a second to get tuned up here. This is Natasha.
Do we have a number?
No, just Natasha Leggero.
Leggee.
We're doing a documentary film on the making of
Right.
this whole thing, so.
But you're not going to use my material.
No.
You might not think so.
Just the back here.
Hello? It's not on.
Actually, move back.
No, don't. No, I don't want to move.
Okay. Can I talk to these guys too? I made them laugh before because they asked me if I had a sense of humor, and I said no, and then I started crying. On the camera, it was really good.
We had more of a cross-section of the comedy world showing up to the LA. In most of the other cities, you had people that wanted to be just comedians. But in LA, we had people that were like more comic actors, which was in a way refreshing and in also a way very distracting. Because we're looking for comedians, and these people are coming in and doing monologues and, you know, that kind of thing.
Hi, my name is Steve Cato, and I'm one of the directors of the Las Vegas Comedy Festival and the Laugh Across America contest. We started our contest here in Las Vegas. We're here in Los Angeles, California, at the world-famous Merv Griffin Beverly Hilton, a place where the Golden Globe Awards is, and tonight they're setting up for the Image Awards, a place where all performers want to perform. We hope tonight to audition some of the next generation of comedians.
Mainstream comic?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to bother you.
That's quite all right. I didn't mean to perform while you were conversing.
You know what, actually, you know what? He's the very first guy, so I want to talk to him for a second. Okay, so let me walk, start right from here.
Okay. I visited my dad.
Excuse me one second. What is your name?
I'm Dylan.
Dylan, I'm Steve Cato.
Hi, Steve. Pleased to meet you, sir.
Pleased to meet you.
No, the pleasure's
You're
mine.
actually the first person that's auditioned for Laugh Across America. I'm just going to walk in a shot. It's for a film that we're doing.
Feel free.
And I'd like to just ask you a quick question.
Come in from here. I'd like to answer your quick question.
Okay. Mark Allen looks over at me like, what is this guy doing? But, you know, we just got to let him do his thing.
From the Golden Globe stage to an audition process. This is Dylan Brody, and he's one of the first contestants in the Laugh Across America contest. Dylan, do you live here in Los Angeles?
I do. I live in Studio City.
And what made you want to come down and audition?
Any opportunity that I get to sit in a small room in a hotel and perform for two sober men in the middle of the afternoon, I take that chance. I can't pass that up.
Well, you know, this is the process, and this is where it starts. In the Laugh Across America contest, coming to a city near you.
And he proceeds to do the most pointless interview that I could ever imagine. We learned nothing from the interview about Dylan Brody or the auditioning process or anything.
You know, it's a very
It was a
hard job.
moment for Steve Cato to be on camera.
When you mentioned to me by email that you were wanting to interview me about this audition, I had no memory of it. Looking at the video, if I'm being brutally honest, I have vague memory of isolating in the Beverly Hilton lobby, harshly judging everybody around me for their pre-audition prep rituals, for their silly costumes, for their
Check it out.
hack behaviors.
Hello?
Yo, what up?
Hey, man, what's happening?
Yo, what up?
Woody?
Yeah.
Hey, man, who is it? I don't know. If that's R. Kelly, tell him I'm not going down there to that middle school. I'm not doing it.
And make no mistake, I still judge people harshly, but then I remind myself that we're all human and there's room for me and the guy who dresses up like Batman and does impressions. You know, it is, but at that time, I was just looking at other people thinking they were all so awful and amateurish and talent show from high school, and wondering what I had done wrong that would put me in the position to be auditioning against them.
Big, beautiful balls bounce beautifully. Boy, oh boy.
And now I know it was that I was stoned for 20 years and hadn't grown up yet.
My favorite game to play is, I call it Match the Apartment with the Wandering Infant.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
I was the only Iraqi comic, and my goodness, everywhere I went, I bombed. My goodness. But then one day I killed.
Yo, before we were born, our ma and pa moved to the great state of Arkansas. Hee ha ha ha, yo.
So, you know, I put my ear up to the door to hear what she was saying, and all I could hear her say was, "How many times have I told you that whites and coloreds don't belong together?" I was so upset, I went and I pushed open the door, and that's when I realized they were just doing laundry.
My daughter is so mad at me. She said my smoking killed her father. I said, don't worry about it, honey. He wasn't your real father anyway.
We had a lot of people showing up for auditions all over the country, not just in New York, LA, who had absolutely no material, no act at all. But you got to give them credit because they had the guts and they had the desire to want to do something. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot to get up in front of strangers, 4 people in a room, and do comedy.
What's today, the 9th?
What's the
8th?
snack bar? I don't know.
There's a gay porn theater on Santa Monica Boulevard. So I hear. And on the marquee it says open 8 a.m. 8 a.m. Look, I don't care if you want to watch porn. I mean, I'm not above porn. Especially to get you through them dry spells. You know, when you're not getting any. Let me let you in a little secret about being a fat guy. Those dry spells are fucking long! But I don't have to be at work at 8 a.m. You know, it's one thing to watch porn, but you hit a whole nother level when you gotta fucking set an alarm.
You don't have to fill that out. You're gonna read this, and at the end, you're gonna fill that out. We're gonna ask for your ID number. That's your ID number.
So come this way.
In 2002, Jorge was just Jorge still. It wasn't another couple of years until J.J. Abrams snagged him up for Lost.
Dude, you don't know me.
What's it like living in Southern California and trying to pursue comedy?
It's interesting. It's a lot of random coffee shops. They're saying a lot of open mic comics just waiting for their turn. And it's, you know, it's hard. When you can make the comics laugh, then you're going, all right, maybe I got a good joke going.
Well, you definitely make the comics laugh. And, Jorge Garcia, you're going to be hearing a lot about him in the future, and he's here at the Laugh Across America contest here in Beverly Hills, and hopefully we'll see him in Las Vegas at the Las Vegas Comedy Festival. Thanks, Jorge.
Cool.
Okay, man.
They know how hard this situation is. So you definitely felt like they want you to be good when you're in front of them. Early on, when I was starting to try and figure out, develop whatever my act was, that I wanted to move very slow. And I'm just going to stand there and let them take me in for a moment. And in a way, it's like you let the whole, everything, that nervousness and everything just kind of come in and then let it go. Just being there is enough to make people laugh. And so there was this kind of like having this kind of just a presence on the stage. Felt good and gave me the confidence to be able to do something like that.
I mean, I got nothing against healthy cereal. Like Grape Nuts is a great cereal. But the thing about Grape Nuts is, when I'm eating it, I can't hear the TV! Thank you very much. My name is Jorge Garcia.
It was followed up by the 6th grade dance, but the thing I didn't understand was.
A little nervous, a little excited. I love Vegas. Vegas is great and would love to go, and would really love to go if I could be a part of this so I could write it off on my taxes.
They said it was a very endearing character, kind of sympathetic, but yet funny. And the people can relate all across America, because people want to laugh across America, laugh across America.
Yeah, I mean, I was nervous. Well, you can always do better, you know? And going first up, I mean, I got the butterflies out of the way.
This guy's back in Hawaii at a luau, eating all the kalua pig his heart desires. Third guy, the Portuguese guy.
Jason Town will be next. Okay?
Oh, it was so tough because, you know, you vibe off of the audience and you just kind of riff about what they're saying. But, you know, I got a few chuckles. I want to sleep.
You want to sleep? If you go over there, in that room, you might be able to sleep. I'll remember you. It's a lot of fun. The people are cool.
Bob, your mama is so fat. When she walking down the street, policemen say, "Hey, break it up."
I rock the world.
I had either made an agreement or was in the process of making an agreement to speak at the Comedy Festival in Las Vegas. And I was up there meeting with Mark Allen, and I said, you know, I want to see all the different performers from last year and get a feel for it and the whole thing. And he said, well, you got to see this one. You just got to see this one woman tore it up. She was incredible. And he sat me right down there and he played me Suzanne's performance from the year before at the Comedy Festival. And it blew me away. So much so that I literally said to him, get her on the phone.
Are there any gooks in the house?
Ken Cragen, who wrote Life is a Contact Sport, Ken Cragen? That Ken Cragen? The whole time he was talking, he said, I would really like to represent you. Just so you know, I have very few clients. I have plenty of money. I don't have clients because I need the money. I only want to represent somebody if I'm incredibly passionate about them. And I would really like to represent you. And I said, let me think, yes!
This next performer is brand new to the United States of America, so you have to be very sweet, very loving, and very giving. She's very brand new to stand-up comedy, so please, please be nice. She's all the way from Seoul, South Korea.
Her introduction is that she's a comic from Korea making a tour through the United States, and let's have a warm welcome for her, and she comes out on stage. And with a little fan, you know, in front of her, very quiet and demure and shy. And, you know, she walks up to the microphone and she kind of lowers the fan like she's going to speak, and she gets scared and she ducks down behind the fan. And you're sitting on the edge of your seat. Timing is she had it down. I mean, this was perfect, you know. And everybody's sitting there waiting for her to speak. And this goes on for probably, you know, 30, 45 seconds. And finally she comes to the mic and goes,
Two nigger walking into...
I mean, it was just, it was just perfectly paced, and her timing and her character, and it was just a beautiful routine. I mean, it was great.
Suzanne and I were in acting class, and sometimes in class there we'd get these opportunities to do stand-up and performances. And this character was Suzanne's way of dealing with Asian stereotypes that she did not have any interest in being a part of, and kind of like, but it's like, okay, it's almost like the idea of like, okay, we get that it's to not want to, we understand the part that makes you not want to do it because you're more than that. You know what? Tell you what though, do it once, and do it really well, and then we can put that to rest.
You will keep that for going inside. All right.
Right now, I'm still the totally Americanized
Out of that
chick.
came this character, which is so innocent and so shy, and then says the basest stuff imaginable, and putting those two together that are so contradictory and so shocking, you have to laugh from that release of it.
Am I allowed to swear?
Last night, my boyfriend ate me out. And half hour later, he hungry again.
You laugh through the fact that your jaw has dropped. I mean, it's like that first line just yeah, there's no one ever sees it coming.
It's just beautiful timing, beautiful. And that's a great comedic ability, that sense of timing. Her direction as a stand-up comic, I think, is still not the center point of her career. It never was, even in the Sung Hee Park days. I mean, her career as an actress. And Sung Hee Park is a phenomenal performance by an actor. Think about it, it really is. Obviously, the big thing in her career turned out to be that she was the host of House Hunters.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Huang.
Which had been on the show for a good 10 years. She'd been on it for a long time. Although, my God, she went on, I mean, to do the Vegas show. She's been able to take elements of the Sung Hee Park character and make it something really fun and unique. Her career really kept finding twists and turns and blossoms and stuff because of the quality of her talent.
Yay, everybody clapping!
And the uniqueness of her ability to play a variety of characters that were, you know, I mean, there are plenty of Asian actresses out there, but there's really only one Suzanne.
So I started taking acting classes at the Beverly Hills Playhouse, which is how my whole journey began with stand-up comedy. When I started acting classes at the Beverly Hills Playhouse, which is where I met Jorge Garcia. I love you, Jorge.
That whole character came out of a class assignment. Just, all right, let's see, do one, embrace it, let's see, do it. And so then Sung Hee Park was this creation.
And eventually, this idea comes to me. What if she were a stand-up comedian? What if she was fresh off the boat from Seoul, South Korea? What if she's never done stand-up before? What if she's terrible? What if she has no idea what she's doing? What if she's got really broken English? What if she's naive and innocent? What if she tells racist jokes? What if she tells really blue, offensive, overtly sexual, raunchy jokes, but she doesn't even know what she's saying? She just wants to come and be a stand-up comedian in Hollywood. And I started to get excited. I started to get excited to do a satire. What if I were making fun of racism, of stereotypes, of prejudice? What if I were making fun of stand-up comedy, even as an art form?
One more. Okay. How many feminists does it take to change a light bulb? 2. 1 to change light bulb and 1 to suck my cock. Okay, that's my time. Thank you very much. I am Sung Hee Park.
Woohoo! Oh, yeah. Oh, very nice. Give it up for Sung Hee Park. Very nice.
I want to dedicate this to Mom and Dad.
Sunset Boulevard, Los Angeles, California. We're right in front of the Laugh Factory, a real proving ground for young comics. It's where the comics come after they take seminars and learn at the Las Vegas Comedy Festival and the Laugh Across America contest.
He started doing these little bits. He'd grab me and Marcus and drag us somewhere and start doing an on-camera bit. Like this was the Steve Cato show.
Jay Moore, who is on the marquee, is a close friend. He's on the board of advisors of the Las Vegas Comedy Festival, and he's been a friend doing comedy since he was 14 years old. An amazing young man, has an instinct about comedy, and he's a good friend.
Steve thought, well, yeah, I'll turn it into my own show. So I would lob him up. I would put a microphone on him and a belt pack, and he would run around and talk like he was live on the air, like we were going to a satellite truck or something. I was waiting for a commercial break from him. You know, it's like we're gonna break for commercial now. This is Steve Cato. We'll be right back. Yeah. Come on, Steve. What are you doing, man? Come on. What's going on here? Again, this guy, he's like, he can make you laugh, but there's something weird about this guy, man. There's something weird about this guy. What an understatement. This guy's cracked. He's cracked.
An adult bookstore right across the street. Arcade, glory holes, you name it, they have it.
Steve Cato had moments where he was just a normal person. And then the rest of the time, it was as if Steve Cato was trying to prove something. But Steve Cato was unprofessional. Okay. Sometimes he was supposed to be one of the producers, so he was a face of our event. And sometimes he wouldn't show up for the auditions. Sometimes he was late.
Sit down, but before we do, I have to go to the bathroom. And I was just wondering, if I do go to the bathroom, Mr. Soundman, Marcus, will they hear me going to the bathroom?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay, good. Because, we want to try to get this HBO kind of edgy kind of thing going on, So if I do meet some kind of like Latino, 16-year-old, just kidding.
Steve was just constantly stressed out. And in fact, before we even wrapped Los Angeles, another moment where he grabbed me and Marcus and said, come on, and we're thinking, oh God, Of course, at this point, we're thinking, he's our boss, we got to listen to him, which really wasn't the case. But we're thinking, oh, he's going to do another bit here.
And that in itself may be a movie. But,
so it's starting to get to you.
Yeah, it's getting to me, and I just have to... I'll show you what happens when I get crazy.
I'm just sensing a little desperation on your part, man.
Well, I only do this when I get this stressed out. I mean, I don't do this all the time, but this is a joint, and this is a lighter, and you guys are camera guys, so I know that I won't be smoking alone.
He's got a job to do, and I'm thinking to myself, we've still got 10 cities ahead of us. There's going to be thousands of contestants. If you're stressing out now, we've got problems.
This will actually make it more fun for me and for the contestants. Because I'll probably actually listen.
All I know is he did his job every day. He came in, he was straight, sober, did his job. What he did at night in his room was his business,
There is a belief that if you are an artist and you are talented and you are trained, and you come to LA and you're really good and you do your work and you go out on the auditions and you do your work, someone will notice and you will make a living and you will become famous and you will be part of the entertainment industry. But that's mythology, because no one in Los Angeles is looking to notice people. Los Angeles is looking for that which is already profitable. The result is a town in which there are a lot of pretenders. There are a lot of people, as was I when I moved out here and was still stoned and not properly learning things, people who come here with a mythology in their head and can't figure out why they're not moving forward. Because they're waiting for someone to notice them while they keep their head down and just do the work. We forget the underlying message of the fairy tales. We forget that glamour is a spell cast by the evil warlocks and wizards and witches to keep the hero from his or her quest. The glamour is never the goal of the quest. Nobody gets to live happily ever after until everyone is disenchanted and all the illusions are shattered. In Hollywood, an entire industry has built up around the lie of human interaction through flickering light and shadow. So you come here thinking that what's going to happen is a recognition of your artistry, and you run into this wall of silver screen.
We had left Los Angeles on the highway to Phoenix, our second audition city. Well, here we are cruising down Highway 17, and suddenly he cuts off the highway and takes this road into a little town called Camp Verde. And I think the population of the town was somewhere around 7,200 people back then in 2002. A pretty small place.
We're going to do this conference call from the middle of no place because this was the time that they chose to do it. And if we're in the middle of no place to do it, that's when we're going to do it.
It's like the highlight of their... I asked the girl where she's from, and she said, here.
We had to call Rodney Dangerfield from the road because we were making an appointment with him. And we weren't going to get to the hotel in time, so we pulled over to the side, because we had an appointment. We had to call him exactly at, let's say, 4 o'clock. So we pulled over in the strip mall, and there was an insurance company storefront there. And we walked in and said, "Can we use your phone? We got to call," with cameras, and we had to call Rodney Dangerfield, and it was like they didn't know what to make of it,
I was sitting there watching you, standing out there.
These people just totally said, "Sure, come on in. Let us help you out." What wonderful people. What nice people.
Going around the country.
And then you do this. Here we are, young girls. I was 21. Janelle in the purple. She's the same age, maybe slightly younger than me. She's 19, 20. Jamie's a little bit older than me. She's like 24. We're just these young girls. Already our heads are larger than what they probably should be. We think that, we're pretty big shit, in this office here. It's like we're getting to play office. Yes, they are waiting for your call.
I just remember the girl who made the connection call, and she was just so professional. You could have probably seen her in a fancy Los Angeles casting office or film office, and she was in a small town doing this on the spur of the moment.
So they're going to call Rodney Dangerfield and then call us. There'll be like 3 offices, Rodney, us, and our office in Vegas.
But he will be on the phone.
And he'll be on the phone. We'll be talking to Rodney Dangerfield through.
Are you guys like interviewing him?
Well, we're actually using a song that he wrote called "I Spent My Birthday in Las Vegas," and that's going to be the theme song and the official song of our festival, and also our film. So we're just kind of, saying thank you to him.
Thanking him for doing it, and just meeting him on the phone for the first time.
He is going to be calling in a few minutes, and you're going to be receiving a fax because you needed a form. Yes, they're faxing that to you, and you should be expecting the call anytime.
Line 1.
Don't pick it up.
No, she said line 1.
Just pick it up.
Hello.
Hi, Mark.
Hi.
Mary and Pat. Okay, we're going to try this call.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right.
Don't hang up on him.
I won't.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah.
Kevin?
Yeah.
Mark?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, we did it.
We got it.
Wow, so we got everyone on, huh?
Yeah.
Pat did it.
Well, Pat, cheers to you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Nice and clear.
All right, hang on for me 1 second and let me get Rodney on the phone.
All right.
And like I said to Mary, this is just basically, telling Rodney, we're sort of rubbing his ego a little bit to just, in a lot of ways, just we want to keep his interest up. We want to get him real hyped up for this. And certainly, give him the whole thing about how excited you are with the song and that everyone is just, jumping up about it, that kind of thing. That's the whole hook here with him. Okay, meet Rodney Dangerfield.
Hello.
How you doing, Rodney?
I can hardly hear them. Can you guys speak up a little?
Yes, we can hear you.
Well, you're very faint. Mary?
Yes, I'm here.
I can hear Mary. Okay, Mary, maybe you can just... Mary is the director of marketing for the festival.
Well, how do you do? Hi, Rodney.
And they just, they thought they should, talk to you a little bit about the festival and how excited they are about the song and everything.
Great. Well, I'm very excited myself. I'm very happy with the whole thing, and I hope that it really does well.
Well, Rodney, we played your song at our news conference, and it just went over great. Everybody felt it had a real Vegas feel to it, and it was really, really well received.
Thank you so much. I feel it praises Vegas enough.
Yeah, they loved it. I mean, a lot of people made the analogy to the Osbournes theme song and said it's very hip and it's a very cool song.
Thank you very much, folks. I hope we can make it a big one. About what time should go, what direction, what should we do with me?
Mary?
Hello?
That's right, we lost him.
Okay, that's fine.
So was that good?
That's great.
Yeah.
Was that positive?
Thank you. Very positive. We're going to meet with him in L.A. and
Meeting with him.
is your address on your card?
So you weren't gonna. Did you have to tell us if it's gonna be on HBO or something?
We'll send an announcement here at the office.
Get a business card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get one from this.
So
Thank
we
you.
can like tune
Thank-
in and
thank you very
yeah,
much.
thank you.
We'll call Mary from the road.
Yeah, let us know. Definitely.
Did you hear what he said? He
I
says,
mean, even if we don't end up being HBO superstars, we met all of you.
They laugh at me at work because, I've bugged them recently, about this. I'm like, I've got to, shoot some footage next week. I'll be out of the office, so they keep laughing, about me being a famous superstar. But yeah, it's kind of hard. You're trying to explain the story and they don't even understand it.
AT&T sucks. Couldn't even hear him. The one chance in my life I get to talk to Rodney Dangerfield, and he can't fucking hear me. Go figure. All right, you heard me say I like the song. But we'll be meeting with him in L.A., and that'll be fun. God willing. Say a prayer for Rodney Dangerfield. Now it's on to Phoenix, and let's win there.
Well, it's one thing to see him on TV all your life, but to actually talk to him on the phone was a big thrill for anybody. He's just as funny on the phone as he was on TV.
Almost as, if you could have heard him a little bit better.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to hear him, but we understood what he was talking about. You know what he said? We're going to his house.
Talk to Rodney Dangerfield, and now we're going to hear the song, the official song of the Las Vegas Comedy Festival.
I spent my birthday in Las Vegas. Oh, I tell you, I had a ball. The playground of the world, that's Las Vegas. You can't get away from it all. You can keep the English and their muffin and all the statues in Rome. I'd rather stay in Las Vegas. I'm gonna make it my second home. Fiji, Tahiti, don't make it for me. Hawaii, I'm sorry, not my cup of tea. Las Vegas, the nightlife, the gambling, the fun. Take
Anyways, comedy's funny. I love comedy. Everything about comedy is funny. There's nothing that you can't make fun of as long as you can make fun of yourself.
Phoenix is a great comedy town, and we had a lot of really good comics.
We've had 8 people. 8?
Yeah.
Well, one of the good things about Scottsdale was that it was so large that everybody was able to go off to a corner. And large facilities like that give people this moment to create their world and then come on and and do their audition.
I leave out. They won't consider it if it's over 5 minutes. I don't know what to leave out. I'm in a quandary.
Yeah, I know you're saying to yourself he's only got one spur on, but I figure if I get one side of the horse going, the other side's going to go with it.
Guys, how we doing? Make some noise out there. Let me hear you. Come on, we're comics. We're gonna have some fun. Welcome to Early Cinema Supper Club. We're so happy to have the people from half across America here tonight for the big Vegas trip.
We not only held the auditions at a hotel, sometimes we held them at a comedy club in each city, and then at night we would ask 2 or 3 of our favorites from the auditions to be in the show at the comedy club that night. And that gave us another insight into how these people had stage presence rather than just an audition. They had stage presence and they could really carry themselves.
The person that I remember most was the girl who put the corks in her shirt, and I thought that it was very funny.
Hey, Boomer, you're performing. Hey, Travis, you're performing. Yes, we are. Hey.
I began to question this whole idea behind these people who are professionals or semi-professionals, and then we're expecting the amateurs, people who have never done it. They only have a dream, and they're not going to be really good and well seasoned like these semi-professionals and professionals. Yet we're pitting them against those professionals.
Well, the issue with the professional comedians coming in and auditioning with the people who are new, there was a lot of people who never auditioned before, and this was their very first time. So they were much more talented and had great performances. That's why the Comedy Festival came up with a separate category in years 2 and 3 called Comedy Club Pick, where it was more for professional comedians, and then the amateurs were the ones that had the other normal categories of mainstream, parody, senior, teen, youth, etc.
But the truth of the matter is, I always wanted to be funny, and the only time I ever felt funny was making love to my wife. And my dog, my wife didn't believe in post-marital intercourse. It's really my first time. It's like having sex the first time, you know. You hardly know what to do next. I'm really divorced now, but if my girlfriend sees this, she'll probably kick me out.
3 of my cousins came by a couple weeks ago, all brought gifts. 2 out of 3 brought a good gift. 1 brought tequila. 1 brought weed. My cousin Isaac, I swear to God, brought the movie Beaches. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, Isaac, why would you bring Beaches for? He got mad at me. He goes, Manuel, man, that's what you told me to bring home, Beaches? This is where it all starts. It starts in places like Phoenix, where they get their first open mic, and they develop their act for 4 or 5 years, and then they go to LA and New York and become famous. Well, we're trying to, get them to LA and New York faster through Las Vegas Comedy Festival.
But that's what it's all about, because Marty, we have committed ourselves to laughing across America.
I'm smelling your BO. It smells quite nice.
Stay at the Hampton Inn, Dallas for $59. And you know it's near? Texas Stadium, Galleria, Texas Market Center.
$50 million for Texas. I've got Texas, New Mexico.
But do you have to be here when they...
No, you just get a USA Today, and if we win, fuck comedy. That's what I've...
Here we are in Abilene, Texas. It's so flat out here, my dog ran away. Watched him run for 2.5 weeks.
See where it says Oak Lawn Avenue? That gets to the 58 section of town.
I think it's very funny that I don't remember that we went to Dealey Plaza. It was important to all the rest of the guys, and I have no recollection that we went there. I'd been there before, but I just didn't remember that we went.
Even though Lauren had already seen it, Marcus thought, oh yeah, that'd be kind of cool. But Steve Cato, I saw another side of Steve.
I hope we find some great comics in Dallas, because I think I need to laugh after this, seeing this fucking place. This is fucking creepy.
It affected these guys that I was traveling with, and I have no recollection.
180 degrees from the laughs and the comedy, you know, it set such a somber mood.
Comedy is my game, Nini is my name, and thank you for watching.
Very good, Nini.
Crazy people in this world. You know what? I have 4 children, and the day that I push my children into doing things that they don't want to do, I will stick a gun in my mouth and blow my head off. And that's all I have to say. Hey, how you doing?
We had so many great comics. And I have little flashes of the different people and the different faces. But generally, you'd come away from each city with one person who just really stuck in your mind, you know. And in Dallas, that was Leanne Morgan.
That's a little Maryland for you.
Chuck, I want you to...
She went in front of my camera. I only asked her a few simple questions, and she improv'd another 10 minutes.
But I got in a tanning, not a booth, because I don't do that anymore, but I got in a mister. Have you ever heard of that? You get in this booth, it's like a car wash. It's a mini car wash, and you stand and you do this yoga pose. And this little car wash goes, shh, and dries you. And then you stand like this, and goes, shh. You do this, and then you do this. Well, it was condensation up on the top of it and dripped down my back. Y'all see the dirt spots? I have been so worried. I have sat and buffed myself in the La Quinta. I think I did okay. But did you see me? A little panting, a little... And I've talked way too much about my vagina. But I thought, if they hear this noise, they're going to think that's my vagina. And it is, let me tell you. I was at home trying to put up laundry and had this big basket, and I was walking up the stairs, and I thought, did the dishwasher click on? Is someone out in the driveway? Honey, it was my vagina. My labia smacking together. I took my top off one night, and my mama went, oh my, it's okay. It's okay. It's all gonna be okay. My nipples were just as cockeyed, and the nipple would be twisted, it wouldn't go erect. But I got these breasts done, and they love them, the children. My little boy comes up to me and says, can I go and play at Ethan's house? And then my girls float on them in the pool. I guess they like me all right. How do I know? What do I know? Are you friends with these boys? They laughed a little bit, not much. I think they were stunned. I think they were going, my husband and I don't have the intimacy that it takes to say there's something hanging out of my butt. Would you look and see what it is? You know what? How did I feel? I felt sweaty, and I felt, but yet perky. I don't know how I felt. You were in there with me. What did you think? Oh, you angel.
I'm just by myself.
Dallas was...
That's some good eating there, boy.
Oh, yeah.
And why do we have to do this?
Because we can't afford to eat in a hotel.
Dallas was actually one of our best cities for comedy.
This is our whole world right here.
Okay, talk to you later. Bye. That was the office. I apologize.
It's okay.
It's actually our director in the office.
Jen,
Roy,
I
this
said
is. You're going to be bringing that in when you go in.
Methodists in the south, butchering Methodists in the north, and Baptists in the north, butchering Baptists in the south. Hand to hand, they're blessed.
Our lives are invested, our families, our spirits.
The Church of God, true Christians filled with, led by God's Spirit. No way.
Hold up the intergalactic microwave conductor.
Okay.
Turn the handle. We'll see what happens. You are doing
It's an announcement for a meeting on campus for an open Bible study club. And I'm interested in philosophy of religion. I thought maybe I'll go. But the topic was, who is this one called God? Which made me think maybe I shouldn't go, because I think I'm a little further ahead in the reading than they are. Maybe wait till they get a couple chapters into it. I'd hate to just show it as a bunch of guys going, have you heard about this God fellow? Yeah, good things, good things. He's pretty big, I hear. It went pretty well. I mean, it's always weird just performing for two guys. Yeah, I think comedy could save my soul. Yeah, I mean, it's something I like to try to make people feel good and to do it in a wholesome way. But the people across the hall, they mean well. They mean well. They're a little misguided, maybe. I mean, nothing sinful about a little makeup, and I don't believe in that whole talking in tongues deal. I can't even say talking in tongues, so how could I believe in it? I mean.
When the person stepped in, we'd have this sheet there, what they did, who they are, and everything, and we'd ask them some questions. We'd just kind of interview them a little bit before, okay, do your act, and then we'd give them, I think, 3 minutes or whatever. Before, and if we liked it, we'd let them keep going, Well, this guy gets up there. He's kind of blonde, blue-eyed, late 20s, and he had no act, nothing, just sheer personality. I mean, like lightning had hit this guy's head, and he just lit up, And once he turned on, we couldn't turn him off. And he just started, and he just rolled. I mean, like Robin Williams, And he was just hilarious.
I'm getting ready to go to the revival next door in just a moment. Praise the Lord. We're going next door, going to go see some people.
Excuse me, please.
Here's the plan. We're going to go crash a party. You guys ready? I'm serious now. You guys ready? Okay. Praise the Lord, everybody. Praise the Lord. I'm here. Everybody ready?
Bam, into the church service, walking up and down the thing, going on about this and that and the other thing, and very after a while, I think that the people at first almost were kind of like, oh, and then they went, oh.
My name is Reverend Jim Novotny, and I'm here to save everybody here in this room.
Oh boy,
I am here to save everybody. Everybody. But first, we need to take up a collection.
Oh no. Oh no. Marcus looked at me like, oh, we're going to be so busted. We're going to be so in trouble.
Okay, we're out of here. Thank you, sir. It's been a pleasure knowing you. Here, let me take my associates out of here. Okay, guys, let's go.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, well,
Wow.
That was fun. I love that. Did you enjoy doing that? I hope they still let you stay here tonight. I'm sure they will. Just tell them that you know the Reverend Jim Novotny, and I'm sure everything will be okay. What you guys think?
I think it's a good thing this is a last day.
I did see a few 3 hotties in there. I would have liked for them to lay hands on me. I bet you guys would have liked that too, wouldn't you? Oh yeah, it's like, praise the Lord. Lay them hands on me. Lay them hands on me. But no, what happened? We got our ass kicked out, didn't we? I blame you two guys. Look at the way you're dressed. No wonder they kicked our ass out of there. Hey, come on. I do want to get the blonde chick's name. What's her name?
Which one? The one in our room?
Yeah.
Lauren.
Lauren? You think I can get a kiss from Lauren? Okay, Lauren, I'm out of here. Just want to get a quick kiss. Can I get a kiss from you? Please, just one kiss. Okay. Oh, that made my day. Thank you. See y'all later.
My favorite city was New York.
The Russian Tea Room was across from us. Central Park, 2 blocks behind us.
Walking distance to Times Square, 42nd Street.
Someone like myself and you could revel in New York because of the cultural, historical aspect of it.
We were in the heart of New York.
To give anybody perspective, we were looking at Carnegie Hall across the street.
Take care of the rental on that Salisbury room, the conference room. We'll just put that on the credit card here. All right, because it's right off the lobby. It's a small hotel. There's no restaurant. It's owned by a church next door, so it's a real quaint place, and it's very quiet. There's no VCRs in the rooms, that kind of thing. But the location is spectacular.
We were in a very small enclosed place in New York City. So I remember how graceful people were to deal with these cramped quarters. Because everything is old in New York City, you have small hotels and small rooms. And I remember that everybody who came to the New York audition was so graceful about being in these cramped quarters, and it was probably nerve-wracking for them, especially if they had never done it before.
I had lots of problems. I used to have to wear corrective pants. Don't ask. But did you ever hear how people always say that Madonna is always reinventing herself? I wish you could really do that, reinvent yourself. If I could, I'd have wheels instead of feet. I think that would be really cool.
Somebody would come down and do something that they did at their fraternity, when they were drunk one night, You're going to have that. It's to be expected, and you just got to be polite and let them go through it and thank you very much, and,
Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. I'm so happy that I knew you. I'm so happy that I blew you.
I love comedy.
I would say there was probably a greater degree of talent in New York and LA and less, boob shows than there was everywhere else. People would say, oh, Las Vegas Comedy Festival, and they'd put together an act in their kitchen and run down and do it, But New York or LA, you had more professional and semi-professionals,
My mom doesn't speak English, and she works in a hospital, so I know she's killed a lot of people. There's no way she's getting everyone's medication right. Not when she can say she can't get the difference between chicken and kitchen. Oh, Carmine, I made you some fried kitchen. It's on the chicken counter. My sister's really quiet, but she got all the attention because she's the smart girl. So I had to do something to get attention, so I tried to be funny. And now I want a career out of it, so I don't know if anyone thinks I'm funny, but I think I'm funny.
There's a Pakistani or an Indian named Aziz. I listen to him on SM radio, what is it, the satellite radio, the Comedy Central and Comedy Greats, and he's on there all the time, and I wonder if he was one of them.
Man, you guys are not gonna believe this. I was checking my mail today. I just got rejected from another flight school. I'm starting to get suspicious. What's preventing me, Aziz Ishmael Ansari, from getting into a good flight school? Is it because I'm from South Carolina? Seriously. Seriously, though, I don't like the racism in this country, man, because it can turn on you. One minute you're the guy from 7-Eleven, the next minute you're the guy from 9/11. It's just... I've been doing stand-up for about a year now. I was just hanging out with a bunch of friends one day, and I just went off and I was just saying all these funny things, and they're like, man, you should do stand-up. And I was like, I wanna do that. I wanna tell people what I think and make people see these things that are so obvious, it's like Bill Hicks said, the responsibility of the comedian is whenever everyone else has come to a consensus, the comedian has to come out and say, hey, wait a minute now, you gotta look at this in a different way.
Seinfeld, baby. Jerry Seinfeld, won't you come in my twat?
There was this one person by the name of Sandy Kane who could also be called the dildo woman.
We don't even have a name for this poor person.
And delightful. Huh? Laugh across America, man. Right?
I'm gonna call her the dildo lady. That sounds better than woman. The dildo lady.
Springer and Quave, you can all bring a check. Looks like
The dildo woman had a long-term effect on me. I had to have counseling after the dildo woman.
Maybe the dildo woman is going to look back and not like what she did there, or look back and say that was the beginning of a beautiful career. I don't know, but in New York is a place where everybody is live and let live.
Oh, let me give you I Love Dick records. I'm glad I brought them. Here, one for you. This is my theme song for my TV show.
We had people who were like the Gong Show up there, you know? What does this have to do with stand-up comedy? Nothing. These people had kind of a half-ass variety act, and they thought they could win a trip to Vegas, you know? And we were paying their airfare and everything, you know, if we invited them out. And there were people coming down there, they'd see the ad in the paper, and they would just show up, you know, read the phone book. And it was just wasting everybody's time, you know?
Don't make us masturbate.
Oh, that groupie was really hot. Let me tell you, I can't wait to really shag her.
And we would just thank them for coming down and, you know, be polite. You know, what else can you do? You're not going to say, get out of here, asshole. You know, you're wasting our time? No. They made the effort to come down. You spend the time. You give them, you know, your 3 minutes, you know, and wait for someone to come along that really makes you laugh. And there were a lot of them.
I used to keep a diary, but my life was really boring. So I would pretend I was a Jerry Springer guest in it. But one time my mom found it, and she said, Molly, why do you enjoy sex with the relatives and being a transvestite stripper? I said, all of those questions and more will be answered after the break. And then she threw a chair at me. I felt it was good. I felt, you know, I got through everything, didn't forget anything. You know, I'm shocked to see when there's only 2 people in the room, I'm shocked to see them actually laugh. It's like when you watch TV and you're sitting by yourself, you rarely laugh out loud. You just kind of think that's funny to yourself. I thought it would be them just jotting down notes.
If you want to know if you're good, play New York City. And we're going to see some of the best comics in the world. Greg Fitzsimmons, Tom Cotter, whole host of young comics, including Mr. John Priest, who's going to stop by, and we're going to probably later. So, John Priest, they're going to be making comedy movies. He's the next Jack Lemmon. I swear to God. When you see him in a movie, you're going to be like, unbelievable. And the first time I saw him perform, I said, this kid's got something special. And he didn't get one laugh. But the thing was, he didn't care. He didn't even give a fuck. He was just totally like, I don't give a fuck. That's what I do. Jack Lemmon, John Priest. Remember that.
Keep it going for William and everybody who saw tonight. Hello, everybody. Thank you. Hello, hello. So I did a little reminiscing this week. I went to my old grammar schoolyard. Has anyone tried this? Try to think of some happy memories? I went to public school in New York City, and I'm sitting in this empty schoolyard, and I'm trying to think of a happy memory. You know the one voice I'm hearing in my head that I heard every day at lunchtime? You're dead.
I remember when I first saw him, he's a storyteller. Yep. You know, he's not yours, you know, set up, punch, tag, set up, punch. You know, that's not his style. His style is to tell long stories, to put the microphone aside, to really connect with the audience, what I would do is basically encourage them to do is try to get a few more jokes, because we are a stand-up room, but try not to lose what has made you special. You know, that's a difficult line to walk.
How we doing, everybody? Alabama?
Did you guys get that last? Yeah.
That now.
That was pretty.
The next performer is also going to perform in the Montreal.
This doesn't probably qualify to your tape, but it just gets all the little things. Yeah.
All right, let's go right outside. You're on mic, so.
But call me and I'll go to light with you if you want to.
You wanna?
I'll go with you.
Yay! All right. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.
Nice meeting you guys.
Bye.
Bye. You're welcome. I have a crazy story about that girl. I have the craziest story. One night I'm coming home drunk from this girl I'm dating, and I'm walking down the street, and our eyes meet. I go, this is the last girl I'm going to see tonight. And as I'm looking at her, I just look at her and smile, and she smiles back, and then she walks by. I go, hey, where are you going? Let's go for a drink. Steve, I'm telling them the story about.
He helped John with his act, and then John moved. You know, John was living in New York, and Steve spent a lot of time in New York, and took John under his wing. And this is when Steve was closeted.
Usually when you're doing gigs in this area, Pennsylvania, whatever, outside the city, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Vermont. I mean, Vermont's pretty, Pennsylvania.
I always thought that there was a connection between the two of them, that, you know, maybe Steve was in love with John and that he never could tell John.
You know, we have these late night conversations at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And you called me up one night and you're like, I'm sending you a new tape of me. It's one of my better tapes. And I'm like, oh, great. And I'm watching the tape and I'm like, oh my God, he's talking about me. What was the bit?
I was talking about how my friend came out of the closet, and I said it was a shock because, you know, I grew up with him, and I said, to him, did you always know you were gay? And he goes, I always knew, I just never said anything. I said, so then I started thinking, all those years we're hanging out, going out to eat, going to the movies. I said, that was like a bunch of dates for you. I was like, you should have told me, I would have let you pay. You know what I mean?
But the reality is that, you know, and this is true of me. I don't know about other gay men, but I mean, I told you a million times. I said, I think you're a very good-looking guy. You should use that to your advantage. You got the gorgeous blue eyes, blah, blah, blah. But at that time, you thought I was straight.
No, I never thought you were gay.
Yeah.
I still don't think, no, anyway.
But, no, I used to tell you, use it to your advantage. I mean, you know, when you go on stage, I used to watch audiences, and whether they were laughing or not, they'd be sitting there just, like, staring at them like this. And I'd be like, I don't know what you do, but everybody, guys, girls, sheep, are all sitting there going, oh my God. So you have some kind of magnetism. And I only saw that one other time when I hung out with John F. Kennedy Jr. I would be somewhere with him and he had that same kind of magnetism.
Oh, I added a new piece to that. I did it a couple of times.
What is it?
About now.
So then he invites me to this gay party. He goes, you got to go to this gay party because there's this huge Hollywood producer. He's gay. You got to meet him. I go, hey, man, I got no problem with gay people. We hang out all the time. It's this beach party, big beach house. I get to this party. I am telling you, I am packed on a porch with 200 gay guys. There's not a fucking straight guy for miles, okay? I mean, it's packed. And I'm telling you, and you know, all the waiters are topless and they're all like really well built, serving Mai Tais, and they're playing Gloria Gaynor and the guys, and I'm squished. And I'll be honest, for the first 20 minutes, I felt really uncomfortable. Then after about a half an hour, I started getting insulted because I realized none of these guys were even looking at me. I'm like, hey, you superficial queens, I can suck cock just as well as the next guy. You guys have been great. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody.
John Priest. Thanks, John. Let him know, John Priest.
That one? Gotta miss John Priest. he's a good friend, man. And no matter what success we all have, you know, you can count on your hand the number of people that you meet like John Priest. Guys that you just, you know, they're real.
Maybe when he did see John at that time in New York, he knew it was the last time, and that's why he was melancholy and sad. Like, he knew. The last time I talked to John Priest was maybe 5 years ago. His Facebook is gone. There's no trace of him anywhere. I heard he was doing work with some kids he was working at a boxing gym, teaching underprivileged kids to box, but no one knows where John Priest, you can't find him. The last time I talked to him, he was putting on a one-man show, Confessions of a Jewish Priest. And it actually got some reviews, and that's the last I've ever heard of John.
So yeah, that's my weird thing that I do. I just travel around America on the bike. Actually, June 20th of 1987, I started out of Las Vegas on a bike, and I've been to 49 states, 11 countries, 116,000 miles. And thinking of wrapping the thing up, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to wrap the thing up by leaving here in a couple weeks, ride from here to Las Vegas to do the comedy festival. Stick a big banner on the side that the Las Vegas Comedy Festival or bust, and work with your PR people and just stop in
Hey, that'd be
town
great.
getting publicity for the
You
festival.
do that, we'll give you a room when you get there.
Yeah, we'll take care
To
of you.
rest up for that long trip. How does that sound,
Very
right?
nice of you.
With a mountain bag? Mountain bike, huh? You got all your baloney there.
Yeah, does a good job, yeah. In fact, I'm heading from here to Las Vegas to do this comedy festival.
Whoa, good luck. Have faith, huh?
Yeah.
Hope you win, hope you win.
You guys will get there a little sooner than I will.
I didn't expect Chicago to be so suburban because we weren't in Chicago.
So I'm thinking, we're going to be in Chicago, but not quite. We were in Lombard, a kind of a suburb about 20 miles outside.
Oh, how I wish I was an automobile. That's how I feel, an automobile. And how the thought of it makes my blood congeal.
I stopped by a homeless guy the other day. This gentleman comes up to me. He's like, "How you doing?" And I thought about it. And I said, "Well, I've got a home. How you doing?" And he hits me up for $1 for a cup of coffee. And I said, "I don't want to tell you how to live your life, but if I were homeless, I don't think I'd want to be awake for it. If you want a couple bucks for NyQuil, maybe, that's a reasonable request." Get this guy a couple bucks. I start walking away, and he's like, "God bless you, buddy. I'm going to pray for you." I was like, "Please do. You clearly have God's ear. Put in a good word for me. I'd appreciate that."
I got a pound puppy, and I'm house training her now. My friend told me the key is to repeat the same word again and again so that you'll know when it's time to go out. But my dog only goes to the bathroom when she's nervous, so our catchphrase is euthanasia. Does Chess want to get put down? Yes, she does. Who likes a Chinese buffet? Who liked a Chinese buffet?
I thought they enjoyed it. I was worried in going in if a couple jokes were going to alienate them, but they were good sports, so.
Like what kind of material were you afraid that would be?
My joke on euthanasia and about, and also my joke about being too lazy and considering prostitution. I wasn't sure how that would rub them, but they took it well, so I was happy about that.
Comedy Hub.
How's it going, man?
How are you? And this is
I'm
Lauren.
Tara.
I'm Lauren.
Tara?
Chicago was a good comedy town, and we went to a really great comedy club there and met up with one of Steve Cato's old friends, Jim Wiggins.
Chuck.
Chuck,
That's
Bill Brady.
Marcus.
Marcus,
Bill Brady.
Please welcome the last hippie in America, Mr. Jim.
Let me explain. First of all, I'm 60. And the nicest thing about being in my 60s is I know I'm not going to die in my 50s. It's my buddy Steve. Steve, you know why we're here?
Chin's on.
Because of you.
Thank you,
Do you
man.
know that tune? Because of you.
Please welcome Jim Wiggins.
One thing I do remember about going to these comedy clubs was after a while, I didn't want to go to another comedy club. And I couldn't tell anybody because here we were auditioning people to be comedians.
Mr. Paul Kelly. Paul?
And I could not stomach another comedy club. I feel so bad saying this. I just couldn't stomach it anymore. And I remember putting a smile on my face and just knowing it was my job to go to what most people think would be a fabulous night out, going to a comedy club and seeing entertainment, and it wasn't for me anymore.
I think I was reaching a stage where I think we all were, that we were kind of getting burned out on it. I wanted to be in Chicago. I wanted to, on some downtime, walk around in old Chicago.
I want my waistline back, and I want to go out on a date, and I want to see my feet.
I remember the Mall of America.
The Mall of America.
We went to the Mall of America.
Well.
and that was about it. Comedy clubs were great. We used the host comedy club in each city. So we'd have the auditions during the day, either at the comedy club if it was available, or at a hotel, catering or convention facility. And then we'd have, we'd invite some of the comics we'd audition to the comedy club at night and put them up too,
I'd kiss a Wookiee before I'd kiss you. I'm a princess and that's what we do. My life as a princess has just one glitch. Jabba the Hutt wants me for his tooth. I was a dancing tampon in the Offensorama in 90-something. So I had this tampon suit made out of polar fleece, and I had a face cut out, no arms, and a big string coming off my head, and I sang, "I've got the world on a string."
Oh, well, I'd like to welcome all you guys to the Midwest, the butt crack of America.
Hi there, my name is Janine, but most of my friends call me Mom!
New medical study out on diarrhea. They found out it's hereditary. It runs in your genes.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people assume I'm a lesbian. I suppose it's because, I don't wear makeup. I wear a wedding band, but no diamond. And I like to French kiss hot chicks.
But you know what? The kids don't listen to Britney Spears. You know who does? You, and you. The men.
Danielle has done different aspects of theater.
movies, commercials, pretty much the gamut of what you would expect a performer, actor to do. And this summer she decided she wanted to do stand-up. When she said that, I threw my hands up, and my husband's like, you know, she's 10, there's just no way a 10-year-old can do comedy. And I'm like, well, you know, now wait a minute, let's just try it. The kids at school think she's funny. I mean, everybody starts somewhere. And so we were going to New York anyway, so I spent the summer out there, and first I started the Friars Club, you know, to find out how I can get a hold of a writer. And the guy goes, you want a what? A writer for a 10-year-old? He goes, do you know what the Friars Club do? And I'm like, well, I have to start somewhere. Found out there were some places that would actually let her play. One was Stand Up New York and New York Comedy Club. And I was totally in knots, and she's sitting there waiting to go on, and the other comics are like drinking beers and everything, and she's coloring. I mean, right before she goes on, she's sitting there with a coloring book. And then she gets up there and just looks at the audience, delivers her lines, and I was just amazed. And she came out and came off stage and looked at me and said, Mom, I'm truly home. She goes, this is where I want to be. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. I couldn't imagine doing that because I don't even like doing this.
Please welcome 10-year-old. Yep, 10-year-old Danielle Lucas. Come on, give it up for Danielle, ladies and gentlemen. Come on.
That walk, that was always like the most fun because it's all for you. You're good. It's yours. Take it. And you don't have hang-ups as a kid. You don't have any of that. So you're not like freaking out or saying you're a failure or anything like that. You're like, yep, here I am. All right, people, let's do this.
My dad's stockbroker sent him this. I don't even know who she is. I thought she worked at the paint department in Kmart.
Originally, it was 100% stuff my dad wrote. And then as we met writers, it was taken into something that was more of my point of view and what I had to say. I wouldn't have been able to figure that out.
Trouble
at
with
10.
the one writer because he kept trying to write sexy jokes. And he's like, you don't understand the kind of writer I am, because like the original Britney Spears one, he was talking more about different anatomy parts, and I'm like, no, she can't do that.
I mean, I was 10. Like, so much of it went over my head.
I bought a Backstage magazine, and I used to read it looking for auditions and things that was happening around New York, and I came by an ad that said Laugh Across America. Of course, I didn't know what that was, but that they were having a stand-up comedy contest, and it was right in New York, and they had a junior division. And I'm like, well, we've got to go there. So I dressed you all up, and we went, and it was, I'll never forget, we went down this, it was in a building, and my heart was like pounding.
If I remember right, you walked up a flight of stairs, and it was wall-to-wall people, like everywhere. And my mom and I are sitting there in the corner, and she's like, I don't want to do this. Here. And I'm like, here, let's just get it done. Like, why are we playing this game right now? And she's like, nope, there's got to be someone in your age bracket. I don't want to do this here. And I'm like,
the competition is like, you're going to be lost. I said, I'm always under the theory, like big fish, little pond kind of thing. And I didn't feel we had a chance there to do that. But I can't remember exactly, but there must have been a flyer, and it had listed the other states. And I looked and I saw, Minneapolis. I'm a flight attendant. We fly there. I will reschedule my schedule. This is where we're going.
We lived in New York that summer and just went home, and she's like, we're gonna work on it, we're gonna retool this thing, and then we're going to Minneapolis. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, he got this from the art, from when when they put you in here. So when you find their passion, you support it, and you support it to the best of your ability. I know things are really expensive, but you can find ways of just being there for them and exposing them to the best of your ability, and that's what I would say to them. And listen to your child. I would recognize when Danielle was stressed. I mean, she did plays where she did 64 episodes and they didn't understudy her, and she was lead. And I could hear the stress in her, and you have to listen to her and accept that and realize that they're a child, and make sure you do expose them to all different levels. You know, let them be a child. And that's the hardest thing for a parent, is to make sure you let them be a child and don't turn them into a robot. Yeah, because when she would go into an audition, that would be the best thing I could hear, is they came out, they're like, she's a real kid. I'm like, okay, that's all I care about.
part about Denver that I remember is we were at the old airport, because Denver Airport is not there anymore. We're at Centennial, and it felt like it was this deserted building in this deserted area where nobody goes in Denver anymore.
First, we're gonna try to hook you guys up next time, man. Chip in and get you downtown. Okay, this is far out. I don't even know they pave roads out this way. I mean, geez, man, they don't even see black people out here. It took me like an hour to get out here, man. I was driving, listening to the radio, and one of the guys was talking on the radio about serial killers, and I'm like, serial killers? And he says, at any given time, there's about 150 serial killers roaming the States, you know, and my girl's with me, and she goes, well, you know, ain't none of them black. And I'm like, oh, yeah, really? There's black serial killers. Those brothers just don't have the money to travel. That's all it is.
I have children, and I volunteer. We went to the preschool. At the volunteer, we went to the fire station, and it was so cute. Everyone was in such awe. When it was time to leave, we were like, goodbye, Mr. Fireman. And then all the kids said goodbye, too. I think it's very important to laugh. I love it when someone else makes me laugh. It seems like such a simple thing, but I think at the end of the day, if you've made someone's day just a little bit brighter, that is important, and I think that's what I'm good at.
Yeah, TV commercials, they have such conflicting messages, don't they? I mean, you'll be sitting watching one TV commercial, and then it's immediately followed by something totally opposite from the first one you've been watching. Say, for example, you're watching yourself a Jenny Craig weight loss commercial, usually immediately followed by a Sara Lee Pound Cake commercial, right? I saw one the other day for KO Pectate, which was immediately followed by 2,000 flushes. And my personal favorite is the Pillsbury Doughboy commercial, immediately followed by Monostat 7 for reoccurring yeast infections.
So, yeah, I had a job. Not only did I have a job, I had a title. I was Data Administrative Organizational Technician, AKA File Clerk. But then I lost that job. I don't know, something about showing up too late and too drunk or something like that.
I saw Home Alone last week. You know, when I was a kid, that was really funny, but now that I'm older and I smoke a lot of pot, that shit is hilarious. Oh, I actually wrote a song about that. This is all three Home Alones, the plot to all three Home Alones in song. There's a boy who gets left home alone, hence the name of the movie. Then it's shot to the nuts, shot to the nuts, shot to the nuts, shot to the nuts, hot doorknob, shot to the nuts, shot to the nuts, shot to the nuts, shot to the nuts, 2x4. Shot to the nuts, shot to the nuts, paint cans, exploding paint cans. Hilarity ensues.
Marcus and I were looking for, ways to entertain ourselves, and we started just doing goofy stuff, you know.
And then we had to drive to Seattle from Denver overnight.
We left early in the morning, and we had to be there by the following day. And we had to drive halfway across the country and sleep, you know?
That's a long haul. That's 12 or close to maybe 1,300 miles straight through. Oh my God, Mark's gonna fall asleep at the wheel, and he's already a leadfoot. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten a ticket because, the way he likes to drive, but now he's really gonna be hauling ass. And not surprisingly, he did get a ticket.
Stop with your speeding, going 90, deets your license, registration, insurance.
Rental agreement.
Why are you going so fast?
Oh, I don't know. We're just sitting there talking and telling jokes. And
we get to Twin Falls, Idaho, where we're overlooking the Snake River Canyon.
Compose ourselves.
Yes, we did the joke.
This canyon, this canyon is so deep. This
We were so loopy, without sleep. We were getting so burned out on the whole thing that he couldn't spit it out. I said, we're in trouble because that's what it's going to be for the rest of this trip. We're just not taking this seriously anymore.
I think we were punchy, yeah.
So we, got back in the van and hightailed it up through the rest of Idaho, and you have to go through a little piece of Oregon, and then into the southeastern portion of Washington State. And it occurred to me that we were going to be passing through my hometown, where I grew up as a child, a small town called Richland. I would like to go see the home I grew up in. We had to get a bite to eat and gas up the van. And then I told Mark, I said, would you mind if, we were less than a mile from the house. And he didn't want to.
Mark Allen would barely slow the car down to push to push Chuck out so Chuck could see the area that the house. It was if Mark went, well, I'll slow down a little bit, you can jump out and then catch the bumper as I'm.
It was the funniest thing. And I thought, we can afford a few minutes for me to sit here and reflect, revisit my childhood for a little bit, But no, Mark really didn't want to give me the time to do that.
And by this time, we had gone, I don't know, we've gone 10,000 miles together, and we could have afforded 15 minutes for him to sigh at his old house, and it just didn't work out. And
yeah, I really needed that. But here comes the van. I jumped in and we were on our way.
Mark's not the most nostalgic person, unless you're talking about old-time comedians, and then he's waxing nostalgic.
And the kicker is, we didn't have to be to Seattle. We were there a day early.
We had gotten there a day or two early. We had enough time to do our laundry because we got there a day early.
And the hills the greenest green in Seattle, like a beautiful child growing up, free and wild, full of hopes and full of fears, full of laughter, full of tears, full of dreams to last the years in Seattle.
We are on a documentary, right? About the Laughs Across America. Oh, he's got the most disgusting family trait. Whenever they cough, they fart. Okay, I'm not making this up. Okay, who could make this stuff up? The entire family. Holidays, they're no picnic. A picnic, it's no picnic. And I just auditioned. I think I did pretty well. I'm pretty excited. So I'm planning on going to Las Vegas and knocking him dead. Remember this face.
Seattle's going to be a great comedy town.
People ask Pete, do you always wear suspenders? No, only when I have pants on. It just seems kind of silly at other times.
We might have had maybe 20 people. I don't even think it was that many. And there weren't any that were any good.
You're welcome.
What the fuck was that?
I have no idea.
Seattle, Washington, we're here at Giggles, one of the greatest clubs in the country. And Pat Wilson has put together a showcase for us of the top young talent here in Seattle.
One of the big shows when I was down there is Lord of the Dance. You know the river dance?
I don't get that whole phenomenon. I don't get it. I know why there's no snakes in Ireland, though. They stomp the crap out of them. I think that's how it was invented. A couple of 100 years ago, some Irish guy walking up the path carrying a bucket of water in each hand, he saw a snake. Almost did a spit take right there, didn't you? That was good.
There's nowhere to do stand-up in Pasco-Washington. I wanted to try it. I've seen it on TV. I wanted to be one of those people, but I didn't know how to go about it. There was no comedy in the Tri-Cities. It didn't exist. I mean, there was no live performances or anything. So I finally I got the Seattle Times, and I was reading that, and I knew there were open mics and comedy shows in Seattle. So I finally just educated myself. Oh, there's an open mic on Tuesday nights. You sign up. So I knew that just from the newspaper. So that's how I finally drove over and did it. I quit teaching in June of '86, so it was only a year and a half, a little over a year and a half later when I went, I'm going to quit, I'm going to hand in, I asked for a leave of absence from the school district, and they wouldn't grant it. So I said, well, then I quit. You made that easy. That was June '86, and I hit the road, and I've been working ever since. Just past 30 years. Yeah. I don't feel like I work, but I feel like I won the lottery.
Have you ever seen her nightstand? Some of the things sitting over there? How about that file using their feet? You ever seen that? Are you starting a fire? You just scared the cat. You're taking the calluses off my heel. Well, do that outside.
Well, the very first time I drove over in September of 1983. I drove over to Seattle and I signed up for the open mic. I had that 5 minutes rehearsed in my head. I knew exactly what I was going to do. And, you know, I don't know where I was on the list, 8th, 9th, 10th, I don't know where I was. But about 3 people before I was supposed to go up, I went up to the MC and I go, I'm not going to go on. I chickened out. And he goes, what do you mean you're going to go up in about in just a few minutes? I go, I'm not going up. I just chickened out. I got scared. And I walked out of the club and I drove home 3.5 hours. And hated myself that I had chickened out. And I waited exactly 1 year till I came back over again. I go, I got to do this. I chickened out last year. I just was so, I was pissed off at myself. And in 1984, comedy was so hot, it was packed on a Tuesday night for open mic, and I got on stage and I killed. Everything worked exactly like I had anticipated in my head. And I was so elated when I got off stage, like, oh my God, I'm going to be on The Tonight Show in about a month. I really thought I'm going to be on Johnny Carson by Thanksgiving. This was September, you know what I mean? I thought that's what I'm thinking. And then Laura Crocker came up to me and said, that was great. We thought you were terrific. We want you to be in the competition. And I go, what? And she goes, in the Seattle Comedy Competition, you passed the audition. And I truly, I was like, what? And she goes, I go, is this open mic? I don't understand. She goes, no, it was an audition. Yes, it's open mic, but it was an audition. You passed the audition. You get to be in the competition. So she explained it to me, and I was like, are you kidding me? I'm all of a sudden I come back next Tuesday, and I'm going to be in this competition. So I walked out of the club because I had to teach school the next day. And I walked out of the club. I could not have felt any higher because I had just killed, and then all of a sudden this agent said, I'm going to be in this comedy competition with professionals.
Tore my hamstring last spring. Tore it up real bad, nasty accident. I know you don't care. Basically, I did was aggravate an old high school fishing injury. I was getting over that. I was thinking about that. Tearing muscles is unique to humans, isn't it? You never seen your cat jump out of a dead sleep, run down the hall. It's true. You never seen a bird take off and pull a wing. Oh, God! I'm going to be walking for weeks. Jeez.
Remember this, you cannot teach stand-up comedy. You cannot be taught to be a stand-up comedian. No matter what anyone tells you, they want to make money.
Can you teach comedy? You could teach the skill sets, but whether you're going to be a professional and become great at it, that's up to you.
I don't think you can teach it. You either can or you can't. I mean, you get better at it, but it's like singers. You can't teach somebody to sing. It's like a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. You can't teach somebody to throw a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. They're born with it. And I think comedy's a little bit that way because I know some open mic people. I know some comics. They're great writers. And you think, man, this really funny stuff, but they're not very good on stage. They don't sell it very well. And like you said, I know some comics, if you wrote down their act on paper, you go, there's nothing funny about that. But they're selling the shit out of some really mediocre material. And then hopefully you get a comedian that can really write and can really sell it, and then you got yourself a comic. But I think you're born with it.
You want to be a master? It takes 10,000 hours. So if you're going to be a comic and you're going to take a class and do it once, that's going to make you a comedian. You got to put your hours in. And then if you want to be great, you got to master the master, put another 10,000 in.
I think you can teach some people some things. And you know, I've told people too, like, it's like comedy classes. I can give, if somebody's never done comedy, I can give you a lot of information before you go on stage. But the first time you go on stage, it's not going to go very well, probably.
You have to have something to talk about. So when I get a 20-something in my class, I kind of go, all right, this is going to be tough. Because I have no frame of reference. I have no life. My dick, my vagina.
Anyways, and dating sucks too. I can't stand dating, you know, because I'm getting older and dating is hard. Like, I gotta be honest with you people, the last time I had sex was 2 years ago. And that was with the pap smear.
It's nerve-wracking because you're by yourself. I've done plays in the past, and you have another actor to fall back on. They could take over the spot for you if they know that you're slipping. But when you're by yourself, this is it. It's all you. I mean, of course, it's my first time. Of course, I'm not gonna be Chris Rock and kill it. And to get the attention, I mean, you really have to be somebody special to get up there and kill it the first night. And I mean, nobody does.
There's no comedian in the world that's ever walked on and been great right away and can do 45 minutes, can do an hour. That takes a long time.
Comedy is probably the most difficult form of entertaining. I mean, you're up there talking, emptying your soul. You know, you're talking about you, your life.
My philosophy is if something stops becoming fun, it's time to move on to something else. At least that's what I told my ex-wife. Unfortunately, she didn't have the sense of humor I was counting on. But
You're there, you're naked. You're up there all by yourself, just you and a microphone, and you got to make it work. You know, and some people's skin is so thin they just can't handle it.
Now, you could write a book, a self-help book about your divorce and how we are all the same, we all identify you're not alone, or you could write a joke about it and let people laugh and be entertained and go home feeling better about themselves because they too might have had a bad relationship or they might have had a bad situation happen. So we share that common bond with people.
I did 2 shows here in Vegas the night my dad died. I went up. My sister called me and told me Dad died, so I fucking cried my eyes out. Just a sec, I'll be all right. This is awkward. So I called the entertainment director and I told him, look, my dad died, I'm going home. He said, don't worry about it, get out of here. You gotta fly home. So I said, I'm flying home tonight. And he said, all right, we got you covered. And that was like at noon. And then shows were at 7 and 9. And then I call him, and I got a flight out that night I got the last, it used to be a 12:20 flight out of Las Vegas back to Seattle, so I got myself on that. So I was in my room, and I called him about 6 o'clock, and I said, look, I'm gonna come down, I'm gonna go on. He goes, you don't have to go on, we got you covered, don't worry about it. The other 2 guys will cover your time, don't worry about it. I said, my dad would feel awful if he knew that I had to cancel a show. So I said, I'll come, I'm gonna get dressed, I'll come down and I'll tell you right before the show if I'm gonna go on. So I said, I'm okay, I'll do it. And I went out and I did my time and I killed. It was great, but it was surreal. It was very odd. It was an out-of-body experience. And I truly felt like he was in the back of the room. And I got through it, I had a great show. And you know, for a few minutes there, you managed to not think about it. And then between shows, Willie Farrell said, he goes, what'd your dad drink? I go, he drank scotch. He goes, let's drink scotch. And so between shows, we had an hour off. I got fucking hammered. I just got shit-faced before the second show. And I never drink before I go on stage. I never drink. So I was like, oh shit, well, if I have a shitty show, this isn't the worst thing that happened today. And I went up and I went out and I killed again. I was sweating, goddamn, I was just pouring sweat because I had so much, and I was drunk as hell. And I killed. It felt great though, because I was drunk and my dad died and I did a show and I got and I killed, and I literally went to afterwards, I went into the dressing room, got my suitcase, and I took it to the airport and flew home. But I did 2 shows the night my dad died. That was tough.
Give it up for Brad Upton.
Dan Warner, keep it going for Dan. Did a nice job. Alex, very funny. Did a great job. I know a lot of you look at me right now and you're going, I think this guy did my taxes last year.
Are you ready? Brad Upton.
I don't know what I'm doing up here. Man, what an honor. Thank you, Steve and Mark, for putting this thing together, and everybody else that was involved. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So I was the winner. So that was a big deal, and I still to this day use that because it still sounds great when people say I won the Las Vegas Comedy Festival. So I had a great time, and I met a lot of comics, and I've told people, this is a lesson I learned, I've told some other comics, the reason I think I won, and we were being judged every night, and by the same judges quite often, is I didn't repeat a joke during that festival. I did a different 8-minute set. I think we were doing 8 or 10 minutes. So the first night I did 8 minutes. A lot of comics, they'll do that same, and especially when they're getting judged, they got that tight 8-minute set. Well, each night in that festival, I didn't repeat a joke the whole week. I did a different 8-minute set every night, and I think by the end of the festival, all the judges like, holy crap. And then to come home with that trophy, and the trophy broke as soon as I got home. It was like, God damn it. So it was on 2 pieces on my mantle for a while, and I went down to the trophy shop, and they re-glued it for me.
You guys. You're so fun. I'll see you in Vegas. Have a good time in Seattle. Say bye, Nancy.
I didn't get to talk about my colonic.
Right now, we are running 88 degrees in downtown San Francisco, which is a record for the date. Other records around the Bay Area, downtown Oakland, 94. San Jose at least 99. That was the 4 o'clock hourly, might have bumped up in between observations. Concord is running 101, Walnut Creek 102, Fairfield 102. Danville, San Ramon, 101.
Dungeon Street, you're going to love it. Movie arcade, 25 cents per video. Hey, Steve, this is your part of town. Look down these little signs here.
Well, Stanley, this is another fine mess you've gotten us into.
Here we are in where are we now?
San Francisco.
Here we are in San Francisco.
Yes.
KGO Radio News Time 4:45. This is the KGO Afternoon News. Greg Jarrett, Rosie Allen. More news of the Bay Area and the state.
You know, open auditions are being held in San Francisco today and tomorrow for the Las Vegas Comedy Festival. On the KGO Live Line is Mark Allen, producer of the festival. Hi, Mark.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing great. Suppose you're looking for funny people, huh?
Oh, we're trying to find people in all over the United States, and we're here in San Francisco for the next 2 days.
So if Mom and Dad and your brothers say that you're awfully funny, you ought to go for this. You ought to go for this.
Oh, sure. Come on down. That's the most exciting thing, to see a newcomer with enthusiasm.
Do they need to call somebody, or?
No, just show up today till 7 and tomorrow from 10 in the morning till 3.
Mark Allen, producer of Las Vegas Comedy Festival.
That sounds fun, and you can have 4 hours of laughs when 30 comedians show up.
You can take lots of pictures.
Wonderful.
Mel, M like Mary, E-L-L. That's a very close-up shot.
I've done a lot of different creative things, and to me this is the closest thing that involves all of who I am. It's creative, it's writing, it involves other people, it has to do with making other people laugh. It's about having a spark, trying to light that up in other people. And I think if I can make that come together, that's doing the best of who I can be in the world. Kind of a midlife crisis thing for me, but I mean that's how it starts. But at a certain point, you figure you got to try to do what you want to do before it's over.
So I have this friend from New York. I'm originally from New York, and she's been staying at my house for a while, and she just fell in love with this really great guy. Aww, that is so unfair. Now whenever I get home, I have this great, big, chipper, happy person in my house, wants to tell me how great everything's going. Hey, this is my house, and nobody's happy here. When you want to be happy, you go get your own place.
You have your recreation drug, we have ours. Ours is Viagra. I love what you do for me, but I'm manufacturing my improved Viagra. I spike it with testosterone. It's got one drawback. It can kill you. But when you're 89 years old, what a wonderful way to go. Yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay. Wow.
And a man goes to the psychiatrist and says, I feel terrible, I'm in bad shape, nobody likes me, I just don't know what I'm going to do. And they say, the psychiatrist says, look, you have a poor self-image. That's common among losers.
My mom's moving here, so I'm very excited. And I also am feeling myself gear up for the Embarrassment Festival that's going to take place when she gets off the plane. Because she's one of those people that thinks that everyone she meets is a potential friend. So we'll be just, walking by a construction site together. Ow! Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. This is my daughter, Angela. She usually walks this way home alone. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I think it is. So anyway, well, I like your cap. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Chuck, the videographer, had to take the place of one of the judges to make it look like we had enough people to do the judging for the audition day.
So Mark had to fly to LA to do the Carl Reiner thing, and he asked me to sit in as a judge, because you got to have at least 2 judges there, right? And then Steve Cato didn't show up, so Marcus sat in as the. So there's Marcus over here and me over here, and we're now judging the Laugh Across America contest in San Francisco.
We, of course, had extra fun walking around San Francisco. How many miles did we walk? 50?
Marcus and I walked over 20 miles.
And not just on flat, normal Earth. No. San Francisco.
It was kind of like a very laid-back New York.
Let me give you some hints about 5 people traveling in a van across the country for 10,000 miles. Don't bring weapons, because somebody will die. But, the whole point of this is there's no place like home. There really is no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Hey man, what's going on, dude?
This is the Laugh Across America contest, Harold.
It is? Yeah. Are we gonna get some laughs?
I don't know, we're gonna find out.
Okay, we'll see.
Mom always told me not to talk to a guy carrying a camera.
I do these fucking moves which you would never do. Someone else in the news is Britney Spears. Do you think there's any significance to the fact that her initials are BS? Just a couple weeks ago, she was flipping off the paparazzi in Mexico. Well, I guess she found a way around the language barrier. Thought I did very well. I liked it. They were very in with me. They got it. So that was fun. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, about my ex-wife.
Tell us a little bit about your ex-wife.
Yeah, all these years I wouldn't kiss her face. Now I'm kissing her ass. She's the kind of woman, that... I was just walking down the street, and my daughter was tired, and she wanted to sit down. And she went to sit down right outside here, and I just picked up the brochure and was just giggling around for
for fun, when I don't even know her name, she just started talking to me, and next thing you know, I was laughing, and she said, "This is something that you should really try." It's the hat. I'm just walking down the street, it's the hat. I'm telling you, it's the hat.
Who would have thought that we wouldn't get a lot of people responding in Las Vegas for something like this?
What do you want? He says, well, I got a friend with me. Just wondering if you ever fantasize about having two men. I can't get one man to call me. How do I get two men? Use a coupon? I said, two men, there's a picnic. Yeah, that's two pairs of underwear I got to pick up in the morning. Woo-hoo! That's two orgasms I got to fake. Woo! I got to warn you, man, been a pretty damn long time since I've had sex. Oh, shit, batteries. I got to get batteries.
If we hadn't had Kathleen Dunbar, I don't know who would have represented Las Vegas.
Big applause for Kathleen Dunbar.
Kathleen Dunbar is a great example, who's a friend of mine. She won a contest, blew up fast because she was funny, but she wasn't, as we joke around, she was no spring chicken when she won that contest. Now, she's beautiful, she's great, and funny. They want somebody who's got a material, got an act. So we sent Kathleen over for the troops. They loved her.
There were invited guests for the showcases, and very few people who were contestants got showcases. But that did happen even in the first year. One of those persons was Kathleen Dunbar. She got a showcase the first year, even though she was a contestant.
My big thing was when I auditioned for the Las Vegas Comedy Festival in 2002 for Mark Allen, and they got me into the festival. And I ended up doing like 5 showcases at that festival. That's bullshit. My uncle would tell a joke to these guys brilliantly, and then one of those guys walked across the room and told that same joke to his 2 buddies and screwed the joke all up. And I was like 8 years old, and I remember grabbing him by the sleeve and going, "Excuse me, you didn't tell that joke right." And he goes, "Get the hell out of here, kid. I know how to tell." Oh, well, they didn't laugh. Those guys didn't laugh. You told the joke. I knew at 8 years old that guy just did not tell that joke right. There's a rhythm and the pacing, and too many words can screw it up, and not the right word can screw it up. And that's, when you can do all of that, and you can hold a crowd, you can get in front of a crowd of people. You got, we had at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club last night, we had just a packed room, 250 people just jam-packed in this room. And when you go out there and you're just alone with this microphone, and you've got to get 250 people to stop drinking their drink and shut up. There's an art form to that. Not everybody can do that. Dark-haired girl in Boston.
At the club?
At the club. She was phenomenal. I was the tour manager 2003. So it was Mark Allen, myself, Dale Cox. We had a little secretary and a camera guy. And we toured through 12 cities. Got in a van, left Vegas, and came back 6 weeks later, all ready to kill each other. They're going to move the microphone every 5 minutes. We need to put the X where the people are going to stand. Well, then why am I standing here? We had one in Colorado, in Denver, that had a puppet that she laid on her back, put her legs up in the air, and the puppet proceeded to eat out her pussy. And of course, her boyfriend's in the corner just laughing. So he's having fun. The puppet's having fun. And the 3 of us judges are just sitting there going, so I guess no sushi for lunch? Oh my God. It was just really bizarre. And it was like, next, 43.
Steve Cato used to say that he discovered Kathleen Dunbar, and before that she was just an unknown, and that's not true.
Thank you, guys.
Spain with the booze.
fights got on my nerves. Canary Islands, oh, that's for the birds. Las Vegas, the nightlife, the gambling, the fun. Or taking it easy, laying out in the sun. From now on, I'm going to Las Vegas. I'm gonna spend all my birthdays there. Oh, I had the best time in Las Vegas, even though my wife and her mother were there.
I hear someone hollering for me. Hey, Mark Allen. Hey, Mark Allen, old buddy. And I turn around. It was George Carlin. You know, I mean, he knew my name. You know, it's like, you know, I mean, that, you know, all the money that we lost, all the work we put into it, that alone made it worthwhile. You know, so he says to me, "Hey, Mark," he says, "you're having your old timers show in the Wayne Newton Theater." I said, "Yeah, George." He says, "Can you get me backstage? I want to meet all my old friends." I mean, we had Shelley Berman and Norm Crosby, and I mean, the list went on. All the old timers were in this show. That was one of the better shows every year, was the old timers, you know. He says, and then I want to sit like incognito in the back and watch the show. So I took him backstage. He took some pictures with all us old friends, and then we sat in a booth in the back, me and George Carlin, watching the show, you know. And he said to us, he says, "I really like what you guys are doing here." He says, "You're giving the young comics a chance to learn stuff and get some exposure." And he says, "You're giving the old comics a place to be." Some of these guys haven't been on TV or haven't done shows in decades, and you're giving them a chance to be who they used to be, you know? And he says, "I really like that."
Yes. So I went away for a year, came back, and this time I got fired for saying shit. And this is what I said. This is exactly what it was. I said, you know, and by the way, at that time, Red Fox was well known in this town and did very well. Buddy Hackett was doing very nicely in Sahara. And I said to the audience at the Frontier, I said, "I don't say shit, folks. I don't say shit. Buddy Hackett says shit. Red Fox says shit. I don't say shit. I'll smoke a little of it." And I went away again. But the nice thing about going away sometimes is that you get to come back on your own terms. And about 10 or 15 years later, I came back with my own vocabulary. So thanks very much for being here tonight, and thank you, Las Vegas, for this. It's been a wonderful 37 years. I appreciate everything. Thank you.
George Carlin.
The Las Vegas Comedy Festival honored George Carlin with the Las Vegas Comedian of the Year award.
He sat in the back of the room and watched my set. And then afterwards, he came up to me and he stuck out his hand, he shook my hand, he goes, "I'm a fan." And I was like, boy, I don't need anybody else's affirmation. After George Carlin shook my hand and said, "Consider me a fan," or "I'm now a fan," and shook my hand, I was like, oh, God, really? Did that just happen?
His presence alone legitimized the whole event.
He had like 11 hours of material. I don't know anybody who can do 11 hours of material. And all brilliant shit.
In prisons, before they give you a lethal injection, they swab your arm with alcohol.
I went and spent the morning at Carl Reiner's house. We were giving him the Steve Allen Pioneer of Comedy Award, and it was a Jewish holiday, you know, because that was the only weekend we could get the hotel for nothing, you know. And he wanted to come, and he was going to come, but then some other people in his family were coming to the dinner, you know, for the holiday. So anyway, so we decided to do a taped award, and I drove in, and it was a modest, nice house right off of Rodeo Drive, and you know, right in Beverly Hills there, you know. And Jane Meadows was presenting him the award, Steve Allen's wife, you know.
He very graciously made a tape.
So he goes, "Jane, Steve would probably be very proud to see an award after his name. He's looking down. He's probably really happy with that. I'm so pleased to, you know, to receive this award." He says,
"I got a paper cut. Yes, a real paper cut, and I know that the pressurized planes are okay, but something like this." You know, when you have a paper cut at my age, you've got to take care of it.
"Cameraman, come in a little closer." He peels the Band-Aid back, and there's a cut
So
He
why
looks
go
at
to
the camera and he
somebody else?
goes,
There is truth and honesty in comedy. And there it is. Truth and honesty, right there.
he was doing a little lesson to all these comics, you know, because he knew that's what the festival was all about.
I knew he'd laugh. I knew he'd laugh. Ah, son of a, he laughs at anything. Goodbye.
Are you married? Or are you available now? Or...
Do you know what those suspenders keep up? Honey, I don't need much, so, you know, we can just hold hands if that's okay with you. Do you want to do anything extra?
Hey, kid, you blew it.
He means he wants me to blow it, and I refuse to. I don't even want to find it.
I had met Debbie Reynolds once before at a video convention, but I spent a couple of hours with her backstage at the Stardust Hotel.
Just as lovely, just as vivacious, just as adorable as she was when she did Singing in the Rain, the incredible Debbie Reynolds.
She was getting an award, a Lifetime Achievement Award from our comedy festival. And just to sit there and talk to her, you know?
Thank you.
I mean, this wasn't just a superstar. This was a super talent. Singing, dancing, acting. I mean, you know, and she was no youngster even then.
Have a great life in this wonderful business, show business. Good night. Thank you.
Camera's gonna walk out with them. When they get all cameras stand by. Michelle, are we rolling?
Yeah, Michelle, you should have headsets at the stations there, and if you put that on, you'll be louder.
Ready, cameras on. Now take it.
Man, I don't know. Do you guys realize in Canada, I spent my whole life thinking that a racist was just a very fast person? I didn't know. You told me you're racist. I'm like, hey, good luck. That's amazing. My brother and I thought bigotry was the oak in front of my neighbor's house. They got a bigger tree than we do.
My two older sisters are like in a bras and makeup and jewelry. And my younger sister, she's like in a Barbie and Ken dolls. Speaking of Ken dolls, anyone see Ken without his doll clothes on? Man, that is one mean circumcision.
Oh, you're a fine piece of ass, Margaret O'Leary. You're a great piece of kitschy coochie pie. After rolling around with the boys, your lipstick is smeary, but you still got the twinkle in your eye. Hey, hey!
I've been married 15 years. The best thing about knowing someone for that long is you're able to share your sexual fantasies. That's great, huh? To be that comfortable with someone. Except, see, men's fantasies and women's fantasies often differ, don't they? A woman might be saying, I'd like to make love in a big field of flowers with the wind blowing through my hair, and I'm drinking wine and hearing Yanni. And a man would say, I'd like to see you shove a chicken up your ass. And I'd like my brother Ted to videotape it.
But I don't have issues with all the homeless. It's just the ones with the well-written signs. I know you've seen them. Don't be putting commas and semicolons in your shit. Don't do that. Come on, spell some words wrong. You know, make me wonder what you mean by Will Whack for Fudd. That's all I'm saying. Make me want to help you, you know? It's just getting out of hand. I saw this one guy, his sign was laminated. How the hell can you afford Kinko's? What? Is that calligraphy? What the hell?
We spent $90,000 the first year videotaping all the shows and the final show. I mean, there's a show with 5 cameras shooting a line truck at the Stardust Hotel on the Wayne Newton stage with some of the hottest comics in the industry.
How about a round of applause for everybody?
And no one's ever seen it.
You know, I talk about language and education, and it always reminds me of the first time I met the First Lady. I'll never forget it. She was a teacher and a librarian. When I told Dad she was a librarian, he thought I said Liberian, as in Africa. And before he could send in troops, I showed him my library card.
Then we had, which was one of the most popular things, we had the Play Vegas stage. That went all day long. So any comedian or wannabe comedian or budding comedian, they say, can actually get up and play Vegas, get up on a stage and go home and say, I got up on stage in Vegas. And it was a revolving door. I mean, it was going for 8 or 9 hours a day. I mean, people were getting up and 2 hours later getting back on again, you know? Tourists in Vegas were coming in and they were getting up and doing 2 minutes, you know? And there was a lot of comics who had been out there working a few years who went to the seminars and said, holy cow, you know, I wish I would have known this 2 or 3 years ago. I would have been that further ahead in my career, you know? I mean, those seminars were just terrific.
The seminars were fantastic. To this day, I talk about some of the seminars I took were great.
We had the celebrity room, we had a vendor's room, people were selling stuff, you know. Actually, it was one and the same. The celebrities were selling their own goods. We were just trying to do anything we could to build traffic, to bring people in, for 2 reasons. Number one, we had a show, The Stardust, who was hosting this. That we could, the whole idea of hosting an event, putting an event in any hotel, is to bring people through the door, see? So they were kind enough to let us use the facilities. Wayne Newton gave us the theater, you know? So we had to get people to come in there.
We love the festival. It's fab.
The festival was very well planned and put together to the point that when it really started to happen, the first day of seminars, Mark turned to me about 3.5 hours in, and he said, it's going good, it's going good. And things were going good, things were going smooth, there was signage, people were going to the seminars, the speakers were showing up. So things went relatively smoothly, and I was just really impressed at the whole production.
I was just impressed with how everything was first class. I mean, there were names, you know, we had a big banquet, an awards show, and there were legends coming in, and it seemed like a big time event to me.
From early on, I really liked Steve, and he was really an impressive person. I didn't find out anything about his problems or shortcomings until after the first festival. Mark and I had a dinner meeting, and Mark just kept saying, I gotta fire this guy, I gotta fire this guy. And I had no idea why, and he started telling me all kinds of horror stories of problems with him. Apparently there was a large problem with him stealing other people's material and then using it as his own. And because of that, he developed a very bad reputation. And I had no idea that that was true.
When other comedians go, I don't like Steve, he was a thief. I don't ever think Steve was a thief. I just think that Steve was an entertainer. And to him, you could do anything to entertain as long as the audience was happy and it was fair.
I didn't know very much about his background in the beginning. And gradually, as we started reaching out into the Hollywood industry for participation, we got word back that if Steve Cato was part of it, we didn't want to be involved a number of times because of his previous reputation in the comedy industry. I couldn't do anything about it at the time. The ball was rolling, you know. But I realized that, you know, the comedy industry, the movie industry, this industry, you know, is so big that people have their fans and their detractors, you know. As long as we could attract 50% of the people that would help us, even with him there, we could overcome that maybe. But it turned out we couldn't really, because he was really that well known, you know, that people wouldn't participate with him involved. And case in fact, we got a number of people that came to us the second year after he was out of it and said, well, you know, you get him out of there, we'll help you, you know. He kept telling us that his best friend is Jay Moore, and Jay Moore is going to invest in the comedy festival. Jay Moore is going to be a part of it, and that's a good link for us for the comedy industry. He'll bring people in. And he's on the phone and the internet with Jay Moore every day. And he said, I'm going to Hollywood this weekend. I'm going to bring a check back from Jay for $100,000. You know, that never happened.
He met Jay Moore when he was young and, you know, made him big, you know. He didn't say that he made him a star. He just said that he knew him and he told him to be a comic, and they went from there.
Jay was like, you know, if I could ever help you guys, you know what I mean? I like what you're doing. It's, you know, I love the scene. And You know, then when the Casino Royale came around, you know, Jay was filming Pay It Forward.
You could tell me a reason, or I could make one up. Mine will be a lot more interesting, I promise.
And we were on the set with him a lot of times. You know, we would just hang out with him. And, you know, I had presented to him at a dinner one night, you know, like, hey, this is what we're doing. What do you think? And, you know, Jay kind of was under the impression that the way Steve did it, that it was Steve's idea. You know, it was almost like Jay feared Steve in a way. And maybe Jay knew Steve's demons would be too big, that if Jay ever gave Steve an opportunity, Steve would destroy it and make Jay look bad.
It was Jay Moore this, Jay Moore that. That's all I heard, you know. And I don't know whether he was actually interested in it, and he was going to be part of it, and then changed courses later on and did his own thing, or whether Steve Cato was just schmaltzing us to endear himself so we wouldn't kick him out before he put any money in, you know.
Anything I would say here, I would say in front of Jay Moore. You know what I mean? Like, I have no axe to grind. You know what I mean? I liked Jay. I don't like what happened. Steve Cato always played two sides against the middle. I believe that he was invested his time and energy in Last Comics in Laugh Across America and the Las Vegas Comedy Festival.
Hi everyone, this is Jay Moore, and the Laugh Across...
But he also saw Jay as an option, that he could give Jay all this information, Jay could get something going, and Steve could just slide right over. Because when the tour was over, I would go by the offices for Laugh Across America. You know, Steve would be there late at night, and he was trying to get an internet radio show going.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to After Midnight. My name is Steve Cato.
And we'd go in and joke around, and, you know, the phone would ring. It would be like 1 o'clock in the morning, and it would be Jay. And Steve would start talking to Jay. And I would say, why are you telling him everything you're doing? I go, he's not coming to the festival. He's completely, you know, washed his hands of you in this way. It just seems weird to me, Steve, that you're sharing all this information. And Steve felt a loyalty to Jay. And it just struck me that, you know, maybe he was playing two sides against the middle. And if the Las Vegas Comedy Festival didn't work out, he would have an option with Jay.
But I think Jay Moore strung Steve along, so Steve would keep telling him what we were doing as we were developing our program, right? Once it was determined that he wasn't coming up with any startup money, you know, that a number of us had put in, and he was supposed to come in with some money. He said he had a house in Boston he was selling for $175,000. That never happened. We had a credit card for him and a credit card for me for spending and stuff, and he'd go out and buy sneakers for his kid, you know, and I'd say, Steve, this is for business expenses. And he says, well, it doesn't matter, the corporation's paying for it. I said, Steve, we're the corporation. He didn't understand anything about that. It just wasn't working. We had to ask him to leave. You know, he had nothing invested in it, and he was just causing trouble, and, you know.
And I said, what happened? They let me go. He wouldn't tell me why, money, anything. He wouldn't tell me anything about it.
Well, we sat down and had a conversation. We just didn't send him a letter saying, don't come to the office anymore. It was a friendly thing. You got to remember, we've worked with this guy for years now, you know. So finally I said, you know, this isn't working, you're gonna have to leave. So I typed up a letter of resignation, which I had to keep in the corporate book because it was stockholders. And he signed it, notarized it, and he left. And it was after that he started with this anger. He started bad-mouthing us and, you know, slandering us and doing all kinds of stuff like that. So we filed suit against him, like cease and desist type of thing. And we got quite a good, interesting judgment, like about $25,000.
I guess Steve went on the internet, said something about somebody, and I got sued for a lot of money. Mark Allen went after me. We went after Steve, and I had to pay out. I had to pay it. I had to put it in my house. I had to get a second on my house to pay that, to pay him. And it came out really bad.
Interesting thing is that Steve had no money, but the fact that he used his boyfriend's computer and the boyfriend had money, they went after both of them. Basically, the lawsuit was to shut him up, but they caved and they paid it. You know, I didn't want to hurt Joe and his kids, you know what I mean? This was on Steve, not on Joe.
He might say he didn't want to punish me, but he did. He punished me and my children.
They couldn't win. It was all on the internet. It was all in their words, you know, from his computer. Nobody likes to go to lawyers. We told them to stop. to stop all the anger, all the bad vibes, the bad, press, anything he was doing to hurt us. We told him to stop. And you got to remember, this was over a period of maybe 6 or 8 months. It was a little here, a little there. It wasn't something where he just kind of had a campaign, But in effect, the longer it went on, the more it was a campaign.
I don't know if anyone ever really knew who Steve Cato was. He might have been my best friend at times. And there's other times where, man, I just don't know if I knew him. I always felt the ending would not be good. Like when he finally passed and, his brother let me know. His brother called me, we were trying to find out where he was. No one had heard from him for a few days, and, his brother discovered him. It was hard because I had talked to him like Thanksgiving. I tried to get him to come over to my house for Thanksgiving, and he wouldn't come. He would just stay in his little apartment. Like, he had a small life, and it just bothered me. Like, he deserved better. But he had alienated so many people that he felt like, I just felt like he thought he didn't deserve anything anymore.
It wasn't suicide because he would have left some note or something. He didn't want to die. He was trying to make better for himself. He was trying to get clean because he told me he wanted to do that,
Steve probably had been gone 4 or 5 days in the apartment before he was found. Steve had a seizure, hit his head, and drowned in the tub.
Before Steve died, he used to always say he wanted to go to Belize, always. That's the trip he always wanted to do. And when he passed away, I went to Belize on a cruise. It's the biggest thing that I had to do. But the ring that Steve gave me, my wedding ring, our partnership, I went on the deck of the ship and I tossed it into the ocean. That's where he always wanted to go. I went to see Jay Moore, and he told me backstage, went to see him in San Francisco, and I told him about Steve had passed away, and he told me, I'm very sorry. He goes, whenever you need me, you know where I'm at, you have my number, you have, my email, just give me a call. He said, I'll never ever speak bad about Steve Cato, because Steve Cato was there for me when I was young.
Hi, this is Jim. We're going to do some recording now on the show. I'll talk to you later. I ain't nothing but a hound dog. Where's the microphone stand? The second year, I was involved on the Laugh Across America tour as the cameraman, and operated that as a money-saving measure for the organization. Rather than spend money for a camera crew, just teach me how to do it, and I'll get it done. So what happened, I was able to be closer to the organization. I was able to see different things go on, and I could see that there was no way that this was going to be successful. So after the second year, I almost totally pulled out, and Mark had to pretty much beg me for more money when he was putting it all together late in the summer of 2004.
I love the challenge of the unknown, and when we went into that comedy festival, was it scary? Yeah, we bit off a big bite. I mean, renting an office warehouse thing, advertising, hiring, marketing. I mean, we, trying to raise the money to do things and stuff.
Having a board steer the organization in the right direction would have helped, especially somebody who had a knack for raising money, because they were burning through a lot of money within a short period of time.
Put down the best top
Mary
10.
Thomas came on board in the beginning. I had known Mary Thomas from Vegas.
These are the guys that Chuck hired. You have to pay them one way or the other.
Get into the first year, I mean, we had virtually no sponsors. We had the Las Vegas Convention Authority gave us $5,000, and a lot of help, I mean, support and stuff. Besides that came from Mary. And she got us the Stardust Hotel. If it wasn't for Mary, we wouldn't have had the first, second, or third comedy festival. Mary got us. Mary was a local person in Vegas, knew everybody. I mean, she was amazing that way. You know what I mean? So she knew everybody in the hotel industry. So it was getting close to the first festival. We had no home base yet. We had no hotel. Mary, she worked it and worked it. We finally came up with the Stardust. We got 100 comp rooms. We got limos to pick the celebrities up. I mean, they bent over backwards for us, and Mary set that up. I give her credit for that. I mean, she pulled it off. But did she get us sponsors? No.
You open up to the back of the program for that first year, and there's a sponsors page. Coca-Cola, there it is. We got Coca-Cola. Only we didn't, because the hotel had a contract with Coca-Cola. I think they just exploited the logo because it looks good. I mean, you want people to believe that, hey, they got a major international company to sponsor this event. I mean, it's right there in the book, but it shouldn't have been there.
Mark represented that there was a lot more money coming in the first year, but it never really materialized, including money from Steve Cato. So from day one, minute one, the entire organization was grossly underfunded. I was much more tight with the dollar, so when Mark needed money, I would hem and haw rather than writing an immediate check, because I was pretty much the only investor that would put more money in on a regular basis. So that's where it started. It started with me.
They started the Aspen Comedy Festival, and it was a little fledgling little festival. And within a number of years, they came in, they sold it to HBO for $5-point-something million. And all of a sudden, that brought interest, that if we started this Las Vegas Comedy Festival, our exit strategy was to get a TV deal, build it up, and then sell it. And we had some people in Hollywood interested in buying it. But, they all talk, they don't have the money. When it came time to writing a check, we had one guy in Hollywood who pretty much everything in comedy on HBO in the 80s and the 90s was this guy produced it. And yet everything he said he was going to do for us, he never followed through on. He was going to buy the festival from us 6 months. 6 months. I said, give us a contract. Put it in writing. Put it on my desk. You want to buy it? Make us an offer. Oh, yeah. Well, next week I'll have a thing for you next. A month goes by. Oh, yeah, I'm still interested. I want to buy it. He didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, but he's going to buy it, One guy says to me, he says, yep, next week I'm having lunch with Steven, and I'll talk to him about this. He was going to a luncheon with 3,000 other people. Steven Spielberg was the guest speaker, but he was having lunch with Steven. I mean, it's just how they talk, Everybody's important, So by the third year, we had more people were interested in it. More people were coming in from Hollywood. We had George Slaughter and Bernie Brillstein at the third comedy festival, along with everyone else, Shelley Berman and all the regulars and stuff. We had a celebrity poker tournament. Everybody showed up. We raised about 10 or 15 grand we opened up a fund for comics for their medical expenses. And so after the dinner at the Golden Nugget Hotel there, the third comedy festival, in the hallway, I ran into George Slaughter and Bernie Brillstein after the dinner. And they said, we had a great time. This could be really built into something. We'd like to help you work on it and get it right. And 2 things went through my mind. One is, wow, these are heavyweights. These are real people. These ain't the wannabes, And the other thing was, I'm burned out. I'm tired of it, I don't want to have to go through this again, and deal with the Marys and the Steve Catos and the stuff like that, you know what I mean? And I never followed up with them. I should have said, come on, guys, let's go sit down in the cafe here and talk, Or let's make an appointment for next Tuesday. You both available? I should have followed through with it. But I didn't, because I thought it was just a waste of time.
It failed because a lot of corners were being cut. In addition, the cash flows were cut out. Sponsorships turns out were really hard to get. And so sponsorships was not this great big line item that was going to generate a large amount of stuff.
Would I change all these experiences, meeting all these people, because I lost some money? No. I mean, you'd want to write a check just to have those experiences. It's not the money, it's the vehicle. It was an adventure. But that's the kind of things that, life should be interesting. I really got a kick out of running this festival, starting it with nothing, meeting all the interesting people. George Carlin knew my name, all the old timers, people, I met a lot of people in the industry. I learned a lot of stuff, Did we make any money on it? No. But did we gain something from it? Yeah, the experience was irreplaceable. I wouldn't have traded it for anything, It was just one of the highlights of my life,
Hello, test, test, test. Am I on? I can't even tell.
Thank you. That was kind of like a roller coaster. It was exciting.
Rodney Dangerfield probably was my all-time favorite comedian. I love Rodney.
I have a day job. I'm actually an aerospace design engineer.
I'm an advertising writer-producer.
And this is my first ever audition for anything.
I just heard it was a comedy festival in Vegas. I'm on board.
I work at Borders, in like the shipping and receiving in the back.
I've been doing it since I was 18 years old. I'd be about 19 years now. I've been doing stand-up.
Mom's waiting. I gotta go. Thank you very much.
I just love comedy. I love feeling the rush that you get on stage and love making people laugh.
I just do it all day, and I figured why not parlay this into some sort of career?
Yeah, I try to bring my life stories because that's the only stories I know is about me.
I don't know why I hadn't done it, my darling. I got too much laundry to do, I guess.
Well, I never tried it, so I can't tell you I want to pursue it.
My daughter says, I have a joke. I say, go ahead. Am I done? Okay.